One person killed, 5 others hurt, according to fire rescue spokesman Jason Evans.
It appears that all 5 stories at some point inside the structure have collapsed. This is the same area in which the deceased person was discovered.
He spoke with KDFW-TV. Former Boston Red Sox star David Ortiz recovering from a gunshot wound suffered while he was in a nightclub in the Dominican Republic.
Ortiz's father, Leo, says there isn't any collateral damage, meaning no damage to major organs, and says his son is now out of danger and will be around for, as he puts it, a long time.
And correspondent Mike Hempen says a suspect is in police custody in the Dominican Republic. On Wall Street this morning, stock futures are higher. Dow futures up about 115 points. S&P futures 11 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Fast Track Student Loans can get your student loans out of default, stop any wage garnishments, stop collection calls, and stop seizure of your tax refund. Give yourself a break. Stop the stress and get your student loan payments down to as little as $25 a month based on what you can afford to pay. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395. 800-709-4395.
Life, liberty, and the pursuit of mojo.
Handicap Jeff, I feel horrible that we didn't ask you if you had a suggestion. I mean, you're capable of watching TV, aren't you?
Sometimes when my wife will push a button, yeah, I can watch you assholes.
Yes, I can watch TV. Holy crap. Brad Staggs. Brandon Morse is on Mojo50.com.
Rates based on a man age 42 with no tobacco use of any form for 20 years. Policy number 25. Policy underwritten by various life insurance companies. Premium includes a $50 policy fee. Rates and underwriting criteria subject to change at any time. Not available in some states. You've heard those term life insurance ads with the rates read very low, and at the end they have a long disclaimer read extremely fast. Why? Because most people like us will never qualify for those rates. It's just a way to get you to call. Listen, at the Term Lifeline, we'll never quote you a low rate hoping you'll call, then try to sell you something else. But we do promise to get you the best rates available on policies of $500,000 or more with professional service. Don't waste your valuable time. Get the real rates you want on term life insurance policies of $500,000 or more from the Term Lifeline. Call now.
866-521-TERM. 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 That's 866-521-8376.
Mojo 50. The question isn't who's going to let us. The question is who's going to stop us. Adjust your mojo now. Thank you. The mothership has landed. Doc Thompson. Brad Staggs. A mighty Mojo 50.
You know, I think it was just a couple of days ago I said only 2 more days till Monday. Yeah, you know, weekends go by so quickly. Now they're just, Friday afternoon is like, hey, 2 more days till Monday, and we do it all over again. And look who's on the other side of the glass.
Mike. What's up? It's a little early.
I can tell by the look on your face.
Yeah, I still haven't woke up.
That's all right. Neither have I. So you're in here because we killed and buried Ron somewhere in the desert, right?
Yeah. Actually, his body's still in the trunk of my car.
Is it? All right.
I'm trying to stop crying, but I can't.
I know. It's tough. Hang it. Beeb wave, little buckawoo. Beeb wave. There's some good news out of Glacier National Park. Well, I don't know. It could be good news, could be bad news. You decide. Back in 2009, at the height of what was then called global warming, the powers that be in the U.S. Geological Survey, I think, and also the Forest Service, they started printing all these signs and putting them all around Glacier National Park. And all this paper where you could get pamphlets and brochures and pictures and little cards. And part of what they said, Daniel Fagre, apparently he's French, U.S. Geological Survey ecologist, warns that glaciers may be melting at an even faster rate than it originally predicted. According to National Geographic, Faegre has been conducting research in the national park since the early 1980s. They warned these brochures essentially that that these glaciers were all expected to disappear by 2020 or 2030. That's what all the little signage around Glacier National Park said. And again, they were brochures and everything else.
That's really scary.
Yeah, well, guess what? They've started taking those signs down.
Because it's most likely not going to happen.
That's right, yes. It's 10 years later, and they've decided, well, maybe that's not exactly going to happen.
Has some of them, has it gone away a little bit?
You know, you can point to glaciers regrowing. You can point to glaciers melting. You can point to the polar ice caps expanding. You can point to them shrinking. Choose your science.
It's just Mother Nature doing what it does.
Generally speaking, yes.
Not enough recorded history.
No. Again, it's that timeline that's, 3 feet long if you talk about the history of the world, and we're dealing with a 64th, not even that, 128th of an inch on a 3-foot timeline or less. And
Absolutely.
and we are arrogant to think, well, I don't know if it's because honestly, I think the people in charge of all that, the powers that be, the climate change framework, if you will, there's money involved in this. We all know that, and that's what it's about.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Money doesn't just talk; it screams. So if you are in Glacier National Park and you see them coming out to take down those signs and quietly take away those brochures. Now they're saying, of course, it's 2050 because that new Australian report came out, was it last week, that the global apocalypse will happen in 2050.
So they're going to put the brochures in a box, put them in the basement, and pull them back out in 20 years. You
know what they should do to save, because, after all, they're already printed. Why can't they just take a Sharpie and just score to 2020 and just put 2050 up there?
When they made the brochures, were they thinking about the trees?
See, no. And that's just it. By the way, I have an idea for a smarter way to fight climate change. We'll get to that in a second. Speaking of crazy, and you know what, Kellyanne Conway, I've got to question her sanity because she married George Conway. George Conway is a whack job. He and again, the people always point to James Carville and Mary Madeline. That the crazy romance that from the left and the right. Although I still think that there could be a little theater in there. Modern day, I guess you can consider them the modern day equivalent of that couple. It's Kellyanne Conway and her husband George. George has said, and he said it yesterday, that the president would have been fired from any other job by now for self-defeating behavior after he celebrated, then defended a deal his administration forged with Mexico to avoid tariffs he threatened to impose in retaliation to illegal immigration. It worked. The tariffs, was he ever really going to install or instigate the tariffs? Was he going to put them into prep?
No, it was just the thought of.
It worked. Mexico blinked. I'm still amazed at it because I will be the first to admit I am not a businessman. Who was it I was talking to the other day? Craftsmen, people who are generally good craftsmen or artists or whatever, not so good on the businessman side. And I can give you innumerable examples of people who are really good artists or whatever, but they shouldn't be dealing in business. And I would imagine that I would guess if I had to that Donald Trump probably cannot paint a painting. I would say he's probably more whatever the side of the brain is that is business related and not so much on the artsy fartsy side. Well, when will people? And I have to set it up by saying I didn't vote for him. But this guy has accomplished a lot for the country. Look at the unemployment rates. Look at what he's done. The China tariffs, are they fun? No. Did we get to a place in our relationship with China overnight? The lopsidedness of it. It took decades to get there. We're not going to get out of it overnight. there's going to be some pain. And we've all caused a little bit of that pain ourselves by wanting to shop at Walmart for the lowest prices guaranteed. So, and that's when it becomes a sales point. No, I mean, nobody wants to. Are you willing to watch just take any shoes? Are you willing to watch the price of shoes go up 20% to help fight the trade imbalance with China? Most people, no, I don't want to pay. I don't want to pay.
We're
any
all
extra.
too selfish for that.
Yes. Everybody wants the problem to go away without some pain. Tariffs are painful. And you point to history. Do they work? No. Yes. Blah, 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 blah.
Is global warming real? No. Yes.
Yes. No. Is salt good for you? No. Yes. No. Are eggs good for you? No. Yes. No. So this stuff, it's a ping pong ball that just keeps going back and forth year after year, decade after decade. But George Conway, he says, I know it's not at all this is Donald Trump speaking. I know it's not at all presidential to hit back at the corrupt media or people who work for the corrupt media when they make false statements about me or the Trump administration. He tweeted this on Saturday, a day after he announced the deal with Mexico, aspects of which the New York Times reported. Problem is, if you don't hit back, people believe the fake news is true. So we'll hit back. And I agree with him. Is it presidential? Some of the things he said in his tweets? No, not presidential. Are the things that the mainstream media has said about him pleasant, fair? Are they accurate? No. So I think he's right. You either have to push back. It's the bully on the playground. If you don't push back to the bully on the playground, he's just going to keep kicking your ass over and over until you finally stand up to him. And then all of a sudden, wow. He went and found somebody else to pick on. But I still think that George Conway's crazy. I still think he's wackadoodle. And if you looked at him, dude, get a gym membership. A little scary in Texas. Joe Biden is leading the president by 4 points in Texas. Red-leaning Texas has Joe Biden several points ahead. Former vice president leads him 48-44, according to the latest Quinnipiac University poll, which was released just last week. Trump's leads over 6 other Democratic candidates: Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Kamala Harris, Beto O'Rourke, Julian Castro, and South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg. Is that how you say his name? Buttigieg? Buttigieg?
Buttigieg? Buttigieg? Booty. We're rocking everywhere.
That's a tough one right there. Buttigieg. I've heard it pronounced every which way. Historically red-leaning. This is, and a lot of this, but again, just catching you up on the weekend's news. A lot of this is going to be media spin on a lot of things. You notice you haven't heard Joe Biden speak live a lot lately?
No, not at all, actually.
It's all of his stuff is like pre-recorded. Nice little music beds underneath it, and he sounds very eloquent.
Like he went to audio school.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean, all of his stuff is very well produced lately. Because when Joe tends to speak off the cuff, doesn't work out so well. So maybe his handlers are keeping him in check. Maybe that's what's going on. Let's see. Oh, this is you have to take this with a grain of salt. CNN poll just released. These are the top issues, they say, after they took the poll, released the poll. The top issues that are going to be at the heart of the election this year. Top: abortion, climate change, and guns.
That's what it is every year.
Yes.
Or every election.
Abortion has come back in a big way. I mean, it's
2020s next year.
Yeah, it's for decades. It has not been a major point of contention. Majority's likely Iowa Democratic caucus participants say any candidate who hopes to win their support must favor a woman's right to abortion, recognize climate change as humanity's greatest threat, and support restoration of a ban on assault-style weapons according to the CNN Des Moines Register Mediacom poll. Other issues, including recent campaign touchstones such as support for Medicare for all, free tuition for public four-year colleges, and restoration of felon voting rights are must-haves for less than half of the caucus goers, regardless of whether they plan to participate virtually or in person. So climate change, abortion, and guns are more important to the Iowa caucus goers up there than Medicare for all, free tuition. Now, which do you think actually would affect more people?
Free tuition.
Yeah. And strangely,
who's who's going to pay for that? I mean, I agree to a sense that college is getting a little outrageous in the cost. Yes, I do agree with that. But I mean,
but you don't have to go to college.
Somebody else to go either.
You don't have to go to college.
You don't.
I didn't go to college. Look where I am today. Ta-da!
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you. They have pushed college as such a prerequisite for life that it's supply and demand. So you get a lot of people going to college. You can jack up the prices and woo, and then you end up coming out of college. Did you go to college? Are you in college?
Yeah, I went to college, but community. That was it.
I started to go. I went to a semester of community college. And went, damn, they got homework in this thing. Ew.
I'm not going to do that.
I went, I'm going to broadcasting school. I'm going to go do that. I'm going to make something of my life. No, college isn't for everybody. What's wrong with trade school? What's wrong? I mean, if you want to have a solid job, if you're good with your hands, you want to have a solid job for the rest of your life, go to trade school. Learn how to be an electrician, a plumber. What they're bitching about the $15 wage at McDonald's. You know how much plumbers make? Like $80-$90 an hour.
It's outrageous. It's pretty cool.
You know why? It's worth it because you climb down and you deal with that literally crap.
Nobody else wants to do it.
No.
And they set their own prices. It's amazing.
Yeah. A good friend of mine, Ed Del Grande. Eddie. Hi, Ed Del Grande. He's the spokesman for Kohler. He's been a plumber. As he says, he's number one in number two. Eddie. I love Eddie.
That's really cute.
Yes. Eddie is a fun guy. He's been a master plumber for years, and he'll be the first to admit he wanted to get into, because we met when we were both doing shows at DIY, and he was like, I will do anything to get out of. I would much rather be sitting in a studio talking about being a plumber than actually going out there and lifting toilets off and cleaning out drain, all of that. It's nasty work. But like you said, you can set your own price, and that's the beauty of it. And how do you get there? You start by going to trade school. You apprentice. No one apprentices anymore.
What is it, like apprentice, journeyman, master?
Yeah.
And the master plumbers are the ones that hire all the apprentices.
Yeah.
It's like the Jedi Order.
Yes.
Whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's we just had that big issue here in Texas where they were going to deregulate, I guess, the plumbing industry, that the state wasn't going to have any influence over it. That thing is still being worked out, but you have to have a uniform code for plumbing because it all connects into the big, one big system. So you have to have somebody saying, okay, wait a second, you have to use, X size pipe going out to the street because otherwise nothing works.
Yeah, I don't want to drink urine out of my sink.
You ever tried it?
I haven't yet. I haven't been thirsty enough.
Don't knock it. But the whole thing with tuition and college, it's just crazy. You just don't, in a lot of instances, you don't need college. You've just been, a lot of kids have been told all their life, you got to go to college. Got to go to college. Got to get a degree. We had at our production company in Nashville, a woman worked as a production assistant, then an associate producer, and she had a master's degree in broadcasting. So there you go. And a production assistant / associate producer at that point, $15 an hour, maybe.
If that.
Yeah. So we are in this country, we are at a dangerous crossroads because there are so many people, and the generations coming up hopefully will correct this, but we just don't work with our hands anymore. We don't have people who are craftsmen. We don't make anything. The pendulum may be swinging in the other direction, hopefully, because if we don't stop, that is a bigger threat to our survival, I think, than climate change. The fact we don't make anything. In World War II, they could shut down all the plants that made all the widgets that we're making here in this country, from televisions to radios, you name it, and that's what we shut down to make all, ammunition and tanks and everything else. We couldn't do that again now if we had to. I mean, if you held a gun to our head, literally, we just don't have the infrastructure.
Don't know how.
Right? Can't we just talk to them? Maybe we can reach a peaceful resolution, because when Red Dawn happens, it's going to be tough. The way that they go at so much of this stuff is just, it's asinine. It's just over the top. It's hyperbole. It's based on fear, and so many people are susceptible to the fear of the world burning up or cooling down or this or that, and it's just getting a little wacky out there. We're talking about the president, and this is another example of they can't say a nice thing about him no matter what. U.S. employers, headline here, U.S. employers add only 75,000 jobs amid heightened trade tensions. Which seems like, it's got to be a bad thing. Job creation took a nosedive in May, with American employers adding a disappointing 75,000 jobs amid escalating trade tensions between the United States and China, although unemployment rate held steady at its nearly 50-year low of 3.6%. It's like, damned if you do. Yes. Damned if you do, damned if you don't. What they say, the Labor Department's figures were well below the forecasted gain, that is, of 180,000. Second time now in 4 months that non-farm payrolls improved by less than 100,000, signaling a softening in the labor market. Oh, we're in big trouble now. Huge trouble. That's why I'd rather talk about Game of Thrones. It is such a...
It's exhausting.
It is, because it's the same thing every week. It's this, and it's just, it makes me crazy.
There's no way you can convince me otherwise. He's a bad man.
Right. He's unbelievable. Over on the Twitter, it's Quiet Guy in the Back tweeted and using the hashtag, what I learned today, I make $75 to $125 bucks an hour, depending on the job, washing pig barns, because exactly, no one wants to spray the poop and sometimes needs to do it. I started at 15, by 19, owner owned a third of the company. There you go. And do you want every day when you get up, are you excited about going and spraying down the pig poop? Probably not.
For that money, I'm kind of excited. I would roll in it. I really would.
You could have a nice boat, and every week, you know what? Then there's a reason to look forward to the weekend. Go out on your boat, or as I've always said, the best boat to have is your friends. You just that way. It's
the weather outside is like random chicks on a random guy's boat day. It's a beautiful day for it.
Yes. So there you go. You can. People in this country, in the history of our country, it's not a nice, neat little, I'm going to just get rich and I'm going to do it without getting my hands dirty. The people who made it, a good portion of them, sure, there are going to be exceptions. They literally rolled up their sleeves. They got into some hard work. They did stuff that people hadn't done before. They didn't bitch that they weren't getting paid $15 an hour at McDonald's. And I saw some guy on Twitter, it was Jack Hole Angry Beaver tweeted a picture of her milkshake earlier. She said she was to the drive-thru, she got a milkshake, and it was filled. The cup was filled, maybe 2/3 full. And she said, I mentioned it to the customer service rep, the person what the hell do you call them nowadays? Customer service, the counter person, the McDonald's worker.
The bank teller?
No, it's them too. And she said, well, is this how you guys fill up your cups now? And she said, basically, they ignored me and told me the straws were in the bag. And then they want $15 an hour. And then some guy, of course, responded to the thread. In Australia, they pay a living wage at fast food. You should maybe do some research, because if you consider $12 Australian, which is $8 an hour American living wage, then think again. By the way, it makes me insane every time somebody, in Australia, there's only 25 million people in Australia. We've got states with larger populations than an entire country. You cannot compare apples to oranges. And besides this, they're not paying what I would call a living wage. And who the hell wants to work at McDonald's the rest of their life?
Nobody does. Do you not think, though, that the minimum wage, $7.25, do you think it's low?
I don't think the government needs to be. That's my position from a libertarian standpoint. I realize there have to be some constraints on employee. I mean, that's, unions and all that got kids out of the workforce, but every time the government gets involved in something, they screw it up. Every time. Postal service, healthcare. So the original question is $7.25 low. You have to, first of all, you have to look at what business it is. In some businesses, you try to make them pay $8 an hour, and they won't be able to afford it. This has been
across the board.
The company either has the money to pay or they don't. And who was it? I'll get to this story in a second. Bernie Sanders saying, what business was it? I'll find it here in a second. But he was saying, they don't, they're certainly making a profit. They can afford to pay $15 an hour. It's like, okay, a-hole. I don't see you out there doing it. What has Bernie Sanders done aside from,
he went to extreme left after 2016.
It's just nuts out there, and it's not getting.
Kind of embarrasses me, actually, how extreme he went.
Yeah, it's plus what is he, 90?
102.
DMXDM says, but I thought I was number one at number two. Oh, plumbing, not pooping. See, and you're getting your story conflated with Poop and Ron's, by the way. Sarah missing Doc, a Mojo 50. I second the thought of going to trade school instead of college at Real Brad Staggs. I should have done that to begin with. I'm telling you, if you can work with your hands, there is money on the table for you to pick up left and right. Just waiting for you to get it. This is your Daily Mojo.
Happily promoting the 4 F's: freedom, faith, free markets, and fun. Mojo 50.
I'm Mike Opelka from PureOpelka.com. Here's your 2-minute drill with a tough topic. Abortion. Now the left is finally letting us know what they're really thinking. Abortion is all about a worker going on strike, a gestational worker.
And I wonder if we could think about defending abortion as a right to stop doing gestational work.
So mothers aren't mothers, they're gestational workers. That's from Sophie Lewis. She's a writer who's very pro-abortion and even admits that it's killing.
Abortion is, in my opinion, a form of killing. It is a form of killing that we need to be able to defend.
Lewis rationalizes and defends the killing because, after all, the fetus is inflicting violence on the mother.
Helps me think about the violence that innocently a fetus metes out vis-a-vis a gestator. And that violence is an unacceptable violence for someone who doesn't want to do gestational work.
So we recognize abortion is killing, but it's killing because someone doesn't want to do gestational work. It's just kind of like a really violent strike, right?
The violence that gestator metes out to essentially go on strike or exit that workplace is unacceptable violence.
Acceptable violence because you want to exit the workplace that we used to call motherhood. God help us. Testudo, my friends. Testudo.
Mike Opalka's 2-minute drill is powered by MojoWildRice.com. Their wild rice is a superfood, gluten, sodium, fat, and cholesterol-free, yet high in fiber, protein, zinc, phosphorus, and trace minerals. But you're going to love it because it's delicious. MojoWildRice.com. MojoWildRice.com.
The Daily Mojo.
All right, get those communiques in. Make sure you use the hashtag #WhatILearnedToday. You can follow me on the social medias at the Real Brad Staggs, and then Mike. What is your Twitter handle? If you're going to be here, you might as well take part in all of the festivities.
I don't have a Twitter handle. Don't be disappointed in me.
I'm not mad. I'm just disappointed.
I'm that young guy that doesn't do much social media.
All right, let's just put your cell phone number out there and people can text you. Let's see. You know what? I promised the MeWe folks I would spend a little time over there with them. By the way, our little announcement coming up at top of the hour, and I'll let you know what's going on here. There's always changes afoot in this place. In the world in general, change is the only constant, as they say. Virginia Dactyl, our prescription, we were poll counters. Our prescription, our RX, we were poll counters. Okay. I worked a double drive-through by myself. Speaking of jobs. Hot Rocky with an I. I want to handle Mike. Wow. Do you even know what he looks like?
It's been a minute since I've been handled, so it's okay.
Whatever it takes, baby. Whatever it takes. Don says, Matt already let some of the cat out of the bag. His punishment is Brad doing the rest. Okay. Oh, wait. I want to know Mike's social media handle. He said I would announce it in a second. Yes, I will. So there you have it. This is a weird story from, where was this? Over at this came out on the Free Thought Project. In York County, Pennsylvania, Everett Palmer Jr. honorably discharged by the United States Army. He was a veteran. He was a father of 2. He died mysteriously in police custody last year. Now the local coroner there is claiming that the cause of death is from one thing, and the family's private investigation reveals something entirely different. For the past year, Palmer's family has been demanding to know what happened and why several of his organs and his throat were taken without notice. That's a bizarre story. We want answers. We want to understand what happened. Dwayne Palmer, who's Everett's father, said Everett graduated from Martin Van Buren High School before he honorably served in the Army as a paratrooper. He was also the father of 2 kids, gainfully employed as a personal trainer when he turned himself in over a misdemeanor traffic offense and died days later. Family was not notified. The 41-year-old dad was in critical condition. It was not until they were being informed of his death that they found out he had spent the last 2 days of his life in jail. And then, I mean, the fact that his throat, brain, and heart were removed. This is just a weird story. I'm going to tweet the link out to that because it's bizarre, to say the least. Phone. Let's see here. Since Ron moved the monitor to the other side of the room, those of us with eyes under 15 years old can't see a damn thing. Hey, what's up? And
hey, brother.
And by the way, who is this? Oh, it's Ron. Oh, look at that.
Hey, listen. You two are some sexy beasts sounding good on the radio this morning. I very rarely get to listen from outside the studio.
See, now you understand all the problems. I said, hey, remember, have you heard that? No, I haven't heard that. Well, now you can understand exactly what I'm talking about.
Exactly. I wonder how I was able to hire somebody without a Twitter account.
Right. I don't know either. Well, I guess the real question since you called is how much is bail and when do we need to get there to get you out?
How'd you get out of the trunk of a car?
Oh, you got out of jail already. Good for you.
Yeah, I did. I heard you crying this morning because I was stuck in the trunk. No, actually, it was a kind of a crazy weekend. So
hookers and blow will do that to you.
Yeah, Sam Sorbo, God bless her, was actually traveling through Dallas and got stuck in Dallas. So she called me up, and we actually got to invite her over to the house. So her and her son stayed with us last night. So I had to drop them back off at the airport this morning. But I'm on my way back in.
See, Mike, I just want you to see, this is what we call name dropping. See how good
I name dropped.
see how good it is.
Putting wind in the sail.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it's funny. I barely made it into work this morning. Melania Trump was in town, and she needed. I had to get her to the Greyhound bus depot, and so that was I think 4 this morning. So I barely made it in, but
I had drinks with Barack Obama last night.
I know, right?
And he wouldn't stop talking. I told him I had to go to bed.
I know. It's just you get them yammering.
Except when I looked at the cameras this morning, I saw you there at 5 o'clock. So it must have been really early.
Unless I perhaps had put something in front of the camera to make you believe I was here at 5 in the morning.
A blow-up.
Oh, maybe that's what it was.
I know how these things
no,
work.
You guys sound great this morning. I just wanted to call in and touch base with you and say, Mike, get a freaking Twitter handle or get on MeWe because the jackholes will not like that.
No, they won't. No, they won't. All right. Well, hey, call back when you can't talk longer. All right. Good to see you.
Okay.
I like that. I can shut him up at
any point.
I just have to click.
I think he's calling again.
Nah, surely not. Would he be? Well, let's see. Nope, he went away. Whoever it was went away. By the way, if you didn't see the video I put up yesterday, it's on my. I have a Twitter account. It's on my. The winds in Dallas were nuts. Let's see if I can. If this thing will get bigger. Let me see if I can get this thing bigger.
Didn't a sky crane fall through an apartment building?
Yeah, in downtown Dallas. It was crazy out there, and it started up and was within 5 minutes. I mean, literally, it went from nice, calm. I mean, I could see the sky to the west. It was, let's see, that would have been the west. East is that way. No, it would have been to the north. The way my street sits, I'm not sure which way is which. But it went from darkened skies and no wind whatsoever to this. I'll start this back at the beginning. I mean, it looked like all hell was breaking loose. It was nuts. And I mean, it started blowing things everywhere. It blew stuff over in the garage. It was you can hear the wind chimes going, and really the skies there aren't as this video doesn't show how dark they really were. The skies, I mean, it was eerily dark over to the north of the house. It was just
it's like hurricane force there for a few minutes.
Yeah, and it got there so quickly. That was the weird part, that it went from being pretty typical June afternoon to just insanity in just a couple of minutes. So, but we survived, and yeah, there was that crane collapse in downtown. That was let's see. I meant to pull that up earlier. I think there are 4 people. Crane collapse. It killed 1, injured several more. It was construction buffeted by high winds during a storm, collapsed on Dallas apartment building Sunday, killing 1 woman. And again, if you are watching the video feed, which is over at mojo50.com, this is what it looked like when. That is insane. Can you imagine just sitting there in your living room or
watching porn?
Oh, exactly. And then this falls in, and you're like, God, I'm sorry, I didn't mean. And it's just I mean, a crane obviously can do some damage. 60-mile-an-hour winds. So yeah, it was. I don't know what was going on, but that's obviously it's climate change. I mean, that's we have to do something about it. And I think we all know that what we have to do about it is spend more money.
So somebody did die in that,
yes,
though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So one person died. 4 people, I think, were injured. I think they're still in the hospital. And what we do, like I said, we need to spend some money. Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, she says her Green New Deal climate plan would cost at least $10 trillion. Well, we got that sitting around. I mean, we are in our Twitter wall is not up right now, but which generally has the national debt, which is approaching $23 trillion, not including the unfunded liabilities. So yeah, why not? Why not throw another $10 trillion on there?
Might as well. It's not like we're getting out of it anytime soon.
I mean, it's just at this point, it is just a number, just a number. Let's not forget that 10 trillion is it's 1,000 billion, right?
1,000 billion. No, that's 1 trillion. No.
See, yeah, a trillion. See, this is what you start to think about what it is, and it's just insane. The numbers are so astronomical. A trillion sounds close enough to million. It's just the t versus the m. That's all the difference is. I mean, that's what happens is once they start repeating the trillion enough, you just go, oh, it's 20. Oh, okay. Million, trillion, but whatever. Just to be a t or a m.
I don't get any more excited for $1 trillion than when I do $1 million.
Right.
It's like, here's $1 trillion. I'm like, oh, cool.
Right. It's just, it's not even, I mean, again, why do we even bother discussing it if it is going to cost so much money? It's not possible. It's not possible to do the things. No. The insanity that is the plan, the Green New Deal, is just, it's idiocy at best. It is the retrofitting or rebuilding of all the buildings in the United States, essentially, given or with the exception of probably a few built in the last 5 years, maybe. Ironically, when you start talking about the green building and all of that, when I lived in Nashville, I was just down the street from Al Gore. His house was over in Belmead. He had one of those old antebellum little mansions. Good
name drop.
Thank you. He would, he'd come over and he'd say, your SUV, it needs to be parked. That's all the Al Gore I do. But he was so concerned that at the time W's mansion here in Texas was very green. And I guess it still has the hydrothermal power, whatever it is. It's some green thing that he's got going on down here. That Al Gore absolutely had to have his house be green, and it was driving all of his renovators crazy because they were having to locally source all the crap that they got and try to do. And he spent, I think it was a couple of $1 million trying to make it as energy efficient and green as W's house. And in the end, I don't think he did. But if we only had $10 trillion, we could actually do something and and reverse climate change. Why don't we, instead of that, look at some of these third world countries that are cutting down the rainforests? I mean, if you really think about how much progress we've made in the last 30 years even toward being more efficient, more, recycle friendly, all that. And I'm a believer in recycling. Unfortunately, we're not doing it right because China's not buying our recycled materials anymore because we're throwing dirty pizza boxes in the recycle bin. I mean, that's essentially what it is. Our recyclable material is so contaminated with garbage that they stop.
That they don't want it.
That they don't want it. And you know what? I feel guilty if I throw an aluminum can in the trash.
Do you really?
Yes, I do. That's how bizarre. That's how ingrained in my head it is. Because if you can recycle something, why not? That's not stupid. That's not being crazy. That's using common sense. Why wouldn't you use it again if you can use it again? I mean, that's what they did with milk bottles back in the day. So why wouldn't you? So now, knowing that we're not, and it still costs more money today to recycle something than it does to make it new. I mean, the costs of recycling are still upside down. And with the China thing now, they're way upside down. So I've actually forced myself to throw an aluminum can away in the past week just to prove that I can do it. I'm not kidding. You think you're neurotic?
You're half a bottle of whiskey in, you just throw it.
I do. Screw them all. But why don't we do this? Why don't we, instead of bitching, moaning, and complaining about plastic bags in this country, why don't we go to some of those third world crap holes and, teach them about being climate conscious or being recycle conscious or being anything? I mean, we can do whatever we want here in this country, and it's not going to do any good as long as you have countries, mowing down forests or in was it India? All the pink flamingos are coming back because of all of the sewage in the lakes and the streams. So I don't know. Why don't we? If we could get all the environmentalists to just concentrate on that, imagine how quiet it would be here. It'd be like at Ron's house when his wife goes out on a business trip over the weekend. It's so quiet at home. He's not dealing with the constant blah, bitty, blah, bitty, blah. By the way, Ron, it's good to see you. I'm glad to see you weren't kidnapped by the Mexican cartel. Or if you were, at least you were.
Not at all. It took me a while to get out of the trunk, but.
Well, you must have an older car then, because the new ones, you just pull the little thing.
There's a little lever in there.
Yes, I had to cut mine off. All my kidnap victims were getting out far too quickly.
By the way, we were in Dallas yesterday when all that took place.
It was weird, wasn't it?
It was crazy. We were actually sitting in a restaurant near, what's that? There's a really nice hotel there. I can't remember what it is.
Motel 6?
No. No, it's where the Capitol Grill is.
I don't hang out.
Yeah, anyhow, we weren't there in the Capitol Grill, but we were in a restaurant nearby, and all of the lights in that area went completely out. Now, they did come back on within 30 seconds or so, but I understood that like nearly 200,000 people were without electricity for a while.
It was, the electricity in the house would go off and then come back on and then go back off and come back on. And finally it went off for I think 2 hours. And I went to Home Depot, and then I went over to Quick Trip to get some gas and get, some stuff. That's all I'm going to tell you anyway. And so I put the gas dispenser into the tank, and I start it, and I walk into Quick Trip, and I'm making my little order on their little thing. And right in the middle of my order, the whole place went dark. Power just went
that shuts down the gas.
It shuts down, which makes me wonder if I got some free gas out of the deal. I think
there's a potential you did.
I think I may have.
If you had just left at that point in time, they couldn't.
I did. But even when I left, the gas, the power was still off. So.
Oh yeah, there you go.
I think I may have gotten some free gas out of the deal. You know what? If I find out that I'm going to go back. If
you swapped your card at the beginning, it probably took the money out right.
Well, how does it know how much to take out though? If
I don't know. That's mechanical in there too.
Right. But if the whole system's shut down, it's like, how do they know how much gas I pumped?
It's a good question.
I
guess it's a good question. Now, did you guys get a lot of wind damage where you
stuff
live?
just blew left and right.
Just trees all over.
Oh yeah, the trees blew, and I think that was the
in downtown Dallas. There were so many limbs and trees, and there's not a lot of trees in Dallas, but they were all over the place. And we weren't too far from that crane collapse.
The Bradford pears in the neighborhood not doing so well.
Oh, yeah.
Those things, if you look at a Bradford pear the wrong way, they fall over. They're very timid. But, yeah, the wind, it took a lot of stuff down. Just saying.
You are now entering Odyssey Station. Please remain seated until docking is complete. Odyssey, dare to wonder.
If you have not yet checked out Odyssey1.com, that is our sister network, the science fiction, the strange phenomena, all that. Think of this coast to coast, but cooler. This is a story from the moon, actually. These things are known as transient luminous lunar phenomena. These are strange flashes that are occurring several times a week. They're illuminating parts of the moon's landscape for a short period of time and then vanishing. This is the first time I've ever heard of this. They say sometimes a reverse effect which causes the lunar surface to darken has also been observed, although several theories about the lunar mystery, that is, or the ministry, light's origins have not been fully explained. Astronomers from Julius Maximilius University Wolfsburg in Bavaria, you ought to go to their Christmas parties. Oh, you want to talk about Christmas? Wow. Don't even bother wearing pants. Germany has set up a telescope there which will use artificial intelligence to automatically detect the flashes when a burst of light is spotted. Wait, isn't this like a red light camera for the moon? That's what it sounds like, or one of those toll booth cameras that get you. When a burst of light is spotted, the telescope will then collect video or photographs of the phenomena, which will be studied to help scientists understand the flares. See, my theory is that this is in some way tied to the Marfa ghost lights.
What are the Martha ghost lights?
Not Martha, Marfa. Marfa, Texas, down in South Texas, close to the Mexican border. There are lights in the desert at night. You can stand on the highway there, and it's a few miles off into the desert, but these glowing orbs just kind of float around. And they have
That's called peyote. That's what people are doing when they see the lights.
Shh, don't tell anybody. I can still get a grant to study these things. It's They tried I think it was World War II or during World War II. They tried to figure out what was causing these things. I mean, to the point where they had guys in planes with sacks of flour, and they would fly over the area. And a guy with binoculars, all right, tell them to, they're over where the lights are now. Tell them to drop the flour sack, and they drop the flour sack out so they could mark that area. They go out and look, and nothing there. No idea. So I think that's probably what this whole thing is tied to on the moon. Somehow it's tied to the Marfa ghost lights. Maybe they're sending signals to each other.
I would say so.
Has anybody stopped to look and see if it might be Morse code?
I think we've all seen Contact, right? Aren't they like giving us math problems or something like that?
Yes, and we're not answering. We much like speaking to the whales, we're answering in gibberish. You're welcome. That's a Star Trek 4 reference. So the so-called transient lunar phenomena has been known since the 1950s, but they've not sufficiently systematically and long-term observed it, says the professor of space technology. His name is Hakan Kayal, who I believe was also a character in Star Wars. Kyle has a hypothesis about what's causing the longer-lasting flashes and hopes to prove his theory. Seismic activities were also observed on the moon. When the surface moves, gases that reflect sunlight could escape from the interior of the moon. How embarrassing for the moon, right? It's just, sorry. Excuse me, I'm old.
It's like a fart.
Right? A moon fart. So, yeah, we've tied them into moon farts. That's, I think, exactly what's going on up there in the on the moon. This is a weird story over out of the Dominican Republic. You know, we had those stories last week of the couples who died. That one couple, that was Dominican, where they healthy. I mean, healthy to the point of the dude was like a bodybuilder, and they just woke up dead. And
how do you wake up dead?
You don't wake up. David Ortiz, who was he played the Boston Red Sox. I'm not a big baseball fan, but he was I think he played with them for
years.
A while, like 14 years. He's in stable condition today, recovering after he was shot in a bar in the Dominican Republic last night. He was shot at the Dial Bar and Lounge in Santo Domingo, transported to a local hospital. He was ambushed by a man who got off a motorcycle, approached him, and shot him in the back at near point-blank range just before 9 o'clock local time last night.
Yankees fan.
Right? There's some, I don't know what's going on in the Dominican, but it is not good for tourism. I tell you that. Don't go there. No. The Dominican Republic is on the same it's on the same island as Haiti, or Haiti, as they say. And it could be that and they're like two totally different, or they used to be anyway, two totally different countries, essentially. And they would warn you, don't go over to Haiti. You can drive over, don't do it. You can think about it, but don't do it.
If you don't want your head on a pike,
exactly.
Don't go there.
Right. So it may be that is spilling over into the Dominican. Something's happening down there. Ortiz, he was shot in the lower back. The bullet exited through his stomach. And apparently he had somebody there with him. I think he was there with a couple of people. And the person that was with him was struck, I believe, by the bullet in the foot. They say no major organs were affected. Total recovery is expected. And the Red Sox offered Ortiz a private plane to fly him to the United States for further treatment if necessary.
He's an American icon. He better get that private jet.
Yeah, no kidding. That's when you take advantage of your icon privilege. Also, by the way, today, if you're looking for something to do, and I would imagine they're going to be carrying this on C-SPAN, there's a hearing today on the Mueller report over in, I think, is it the House Judiciary Committee? Yes, it's at 2:00 today. That would be Eastern time. It's happening over at the, if you need the address, it's 2141 Rayburn House Office Building in D.C. The title of the hearing, Lessons from the Mueller Report, Presidential Obstruction and Other Crimes. So, by the way, they are, I think one of the guys that is going to be talking at this hearing today is John Dean. He was in the Nixon White House. He was involved with Watergate, so that's why bring. At least, you got to look at the entertaining side of this, because it's just so they're bringing in a Watergate influencer, shall we say? Back in the day, they didn't have that word back then. He's an influencer. Can you imagine if Twitter and Instagram and Facebook had existed back then during Watergate? Whoa, totally different. So John Dean's going to be there at the meeting this afternoon, the hearing this afternoon. Good for them. They just, it's a good thing they've got all the rest of the problems in this country figured out. Don't have to worry about anything else, just what's happening there. By the way, there is, are some benefits of, treating yourself well. If you just start eating right and you start exercising, it's not just about losing the weight. It's not just about, getting rid of the spare tire. The jelly roll, as they say. Getting fit can also help improve your mood. Doing right by your body pays off for your mind as well. The Mayo Clinic says the physical activity stimulates the production of endorphins. They are those chemicals in your brain that leave you feeling happier and more relaxed. You eat a healthy diet as well as exercise. It can lead to a better physique. You'll feel better about your appearance, which can boost your self-confidence and your self-esteem. Short-term benefits of exercise include decreased stress and improved cognitive function.
Don't you like to sit on the couch, though, and eat Cheetos?
It's much easier, and I do enjoy it. You're right.
I don't feel sad when I'm doing that.
No, I don't either.
So they're wrong.
I do occasionally feel sad about eating a cookie.
Why?
I don't know.
It's just like a chocolate chip or?
Yeah. Any cookie, really. It's just one of those things. You just start getting old, you realize
You ever eat a bowl of ice cream and put the cookies in it?
No, but
you fat, miserable bastard.
I have. Last summer, I had a little thing for Bahama Bucks, and he and I had to break up. We just, it wasn't working out because I was seeing Buck every other day. He made me feel really good. Oh.
You cried when you walked away, too.
I did. Oh, did I? But I've realized that Bahama Buck and I cannot be just friends, because I was going to have all that creamy goodness inside me every other day. Just can't do it. So that's one of the things I've done to change the outcome of my life, if you will. If you're trying to get healthy and fit, I would recommend that you head over to the Doc Thompson Healthy Lifestyle Challenge. Still got that thing. They haven't shadow banned Gwen Rich lately. You never know. She's kind of wild that way. She could get shadow banned again at any point. So just do a little search on Facebook for the Doc Thompson Healthy Lifestyle Challenge. Find out what essentially it's like a support group for getting healthier. And it's not it's little steps, because if you try to do all this at one time, you'll fail miserably, and then you'll just you'll fall deeper into the mire of depression, and then pretty soon you're eating the entire box of Oreo cookies, double stuff. Mint. Those would be good right now, wouldn't they?
Kind of craving it.
Except they leave that film on your teeth. That greasy.
And it doesn't go away.
No, it doesn't. So they could work that out. But you can also start at therichsolution.com. Find your supplements there. Find Gwen's story and find the reason she wants to leave this legacy behind. It is therichsolution.com and the Doc Thompson Healthy Lifestyle Challenge. Over on the Twitter, Attack All Yuki, creamy goodness inside of you gets a delayed half-hearted. I am trying to do the work of 3 people in here now. You know what? Maybe I should have gone to college. Damn it. It's your Daily Mojo.
This is the seditious, rabble-rousing, liberty-loving, home of fun, entertaining, and compelling talk. Mojo 50.
Views this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Iran's top diplomat spewing threats against the United States. Iranian Foreign Minister Mohammad Zarif saying the U.S., in his words, cannot expect to stay safe after launching what he describes as an economic war against Tehran. The Democrat-controlled House Judiciary Committee expected to approve a resolution today asking the courts to force Attorney General Barr to respond to requests for information. The panel had been talking about holding Barr in contempt of Congress. President Trump saying that he reserves the right to impose tariffs on Mexican imports if Mexico fails to follow through on a deal brokered with the U.S.
Instead of imposing a 5% tax on goods from Mexico, the president is hailing an agreement reached on Friday. He tweets that there is now going to be great cooperation between Mexico and the USA, something he says that didn't exist for decades. That cooperation refers to increased border security. However, the president warns that he can always return to the very profitable position of tariffs if Mexico's cooperation doesn't happen. Greg Clugston, Washington.
After the U.S. took steps aimed at protecting American technology and intellectual property from theft by foreign powers, specifically China, Beijing is responding in kind.
The official Xinhua news agency says it's called a National Technological Security Management List. The People's Daily newspaper says it sets up a strong firewall to strengthen China's ability to innovate and accelerate the development of key technologies. The initiative follows U.S. moves to restrict U.S. technology sales to Huawei and other Chinese tech firms.
Correspondent Ben Thomas. One person killed, 5 others hurt when a construction crane fell onto a 5-story apartment building in Dallas yesterday. Wall Street, Dow futures up 133 points, S&P futures up 14. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Now you can fly anywhere in the world and pay discount prices on your airline tickets. Book a flight today to London, Paris, Madrid, or anywhere else you want to go and pay a lot less guaranteed. Call the International Travel Department right now at Low Cost Airlines.
800-452-1075. 800-452-1075. That's 800-452-1075.
You know what makes you feel really good about yourself? Doing something good for somebody else. If you'd like to do that today, go to jdrf.org. Join them in the fight against type 1 diabetes. jdrf.org. It's something good you can do for the world.
jdrf.org.
Radio's so good it will knock you out of your seat. Uncommon Sense with Bill and Jen, Monday through Fridays at 11 a.m. Eastern.
Mojo 50.
Got an old car? You can donate it, whether it's running or not, to the United Breast Cancer Foundation and save a life. They'll even come and pick it up for free. The United Breast Cancer Foundation has saved hundreds of women's lives through their free or low-cost breast screen exams. But now they need your help. The United Breast Cancer Foundation wants to save more lives through early detection by offering women free or low-cost breast screening exams. And donating your old car, SUV, or truck, whether it's running or not, helps pay for them. Plus, you get a charitable tax deduction. Help the United Breast Cancer Foundation save lives by donating your old car, SUV, or truck. Call now for free pickup. 800-245-0823. 800-245-0823. 800-245-0823. Call right now. That number again is 800-245-0823.
If we weren't so bad.
To puppy rape.
I like to cuss.
Do I want to keep my penis?
Cat wants some black titties. We wouldn't be so good. Mojo 50.
Mothership has landed.
All right, let's clear up some confusion here because obviously they're confused. F in Florida Man on the Twitter says, at Real Brad Staggs and no Twitter handle Mike. Or as we like to call him here.
Mike.
Are just now realizing that the Dominican Republic is like most island and Central South American countries. The thing of it is, the Dominican, I've been there several times, and it's up until, I mean, yes, has it been bad? And then maybe it was just an isolated period of time, but I've been there when it's a very nice little country. And the people are friendly, and yes, you're dealing with some regimes down there that are less than desirable, and of course, then you have Haiti right next door. I just think that whole that it's becoming a lot less stable than it was, which is sad to see because it is a beautiful place, and there are stories I could tell you that would curl your toes.
Stories that would put you in the trunk of a car.
Yeah, yes, they would. Yes, they would. And Attack Hole Yuki says travel cookies are guilt-free. Yes, they are. And I kid you not, every time if there are cookies in the house, every time I touch that just needed a bell. Mike's not leaving, is he? Good.
No, he's not.
Because
He's actually.
Don't tell him.
Don't tell him. I won't tell him.
Yeah.
He's helping us with the other side.
Every time I go get the cookies out of the cupboard, I think of Doc every damn time.
Yeah.
Because you have to get the travel cookie. You get let's say ginger snaps. You just go. You get. You're watching TV and you get up to get a little snack. You go in there. You put your hand in the box of ginger. You pull out put them in your other hand. You go to close up the box, but before you reach in, you grab one extra cookie because you have to have the travel cookie to get you from the pantry, let's say, back to the couch.
Which is where you're going to consume the cookies that you had planned to consume.
Yes, but the problem is when you reached in there, you got that handful of cookies. That was the perfect amount for sitting there on the couch.
But the calories on the travel cookie do not count, right? Is that what we're?
That is correct.
See, okay, good.
That is absolutely correct. So you grab the travel cookie so that you have something to do with your hands.
If it's an extra long trip, do you get 2 travel cookies?
Don't push it.
I can walk slow.
Yeah, yeah, and you might find a reason to get back up and go back to the pantry. Also, Attack Hole Yuki, that couple in Dominican Republic were the last ones to find out they're dead. Yes, you want to get haunted. That's how you get haunted. There's just some weird things going on down there.
Speaking of haunted, I know you've already done the Odyssey Minute, but our buddy Russ with Odyssey One, they did their ghost hunt this
weekend, right?
I think it was Friday or Saturday, and he was texting me. It was phenomenal. They were getting EMP readings. They were people saying names. Crazy.
And Russ, I'm sure he's listening this morning. Whenever you have a chance, would love to talk to you about that. So call us. If you're listening this morning, call us. If you want to do it later this week, because we got an internal email here at Mojo with some pictures of this place that they were going to investigate, and to say that the pictures were creepy is an understatement.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That was a creepy picture.
I am Fox Mulder. I want to believe. So my first instinct is to look at them and say, yeah, that's creepy, but how'd they Photoshop it?
So we found out. So, we showed that picture last week. I think we did. That little girl sticking her head out the window at the door.
Did we?
If we didn't, we can find it and show it. But we found out her name and how old she was.
Really?
Yeah.
Is that what in your texts from
Russ? Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. So, well, we'll find out. Russ, when you have a chance to call, please do, because
he's texting me.
What's he saying? What's he saying?
Well, he's texting me her name. But I remembered that. So, her name. Now, I asked him if he heard that, and he said no. It was some nurses that were working, or some other women that were working in another section that heard her say her name and how old she was, and her name was Ellen, and she was 11.
Wow. Well, it's a creepy photo, so we'll show it to you when we get Russ on the line. By the way, first of all, thank you to everybody who bid on the first round of Doc Thompson stuff. The second round is up there on eBay, and this is stuff we found in Doc's drawers after he went on vacation. You know what? You're not going to come back from vacation and clean out your own drawers. We'll do it, and we'll sell it. So the first round of stuff getting mailed out today, and threw a little something extra into each one just because. Not socks, by the way. But so they're going out today. Generally, I would have had that stuff out on Saturday, but I was too lazy. So, and truly, the pieces of clothing, I stuffed them into an envelope to save postage. Postage and shipping has gotten
clothing
crazy.
You can do that with.
Yeah, but still, one of the wool blazer. I would prefer it obviously to send that differently, but
yeah,
just to keep the price from being stupid expensive as far as shipping is concerned, at least you get A1 service when you go to the post office, though, right? You walk out of there feeling good. They do.
Or at least they think they give A1 service.
Yeah, well. In Yellowstone, last hour we talked about Glacier National Park and how they are quietly removing all the little signs and the brochures that they had around the park saying that because of climate change that the glaciers would be gone by 2020. Oopsies. Yellowstone, in the meantime, it's just now coming out, and this is from a meeting back in I think 2003. They closed the park after caldera uplift caused a 100 centimeter ground, or excuse me, it's a centigrade, 100 degrees Celsius ground temperatures. Why didn't we just change to the geometric system?
Because now
Why
I'm trying
didn't
to
we just change?
I'm trying to translate that.
100 degrees Celsius is boiling, so it's 212. 212. Yeah. Why didn't we change? The rest of the universe is on metric. Why didn't we change? But I digress. Volcanic experts scientists recommended that parts of the national park's trails should be closed after recording an uplift in the caldera. It was revealed during a lecture, and again, this lecture took place back in 2003, but they're just now revealing it. That they were more concerned than they let on about the eruption of Yellowstone. And I think they still are, even though you every now and then you'll see, don't worry about Yellowstone. Yellowstone's fine. It's not going. Why? It's not going to erupt. Because if it does, there's A, nothing we can do about it, and B, there's nothing you can do about it.
Especially if you're standing near there.
Yeah. And it's going to affect like 2/3 of the United States and probably the rest of the world, because they say the ash cloud will go 10,000 feet.
Yeah, and aircraft cannot fly near a volcanic ash cloud.
It sucks it into the engines, right?
And you know why? It's molten metal. The ash cloud is. And it
is
will,
it really?
Absolutely. And it will get sucked into the engines and freaking lock it up.
Not in a good way either.
No, not at all.
Yeah, they say now the ash cloud could reach the stratosphere. And that's way up there. For those of you in the Indiana trailer park. Yellowstone at some point, it's way overdue. It's going to happen. It is going to happen. And it's just a matter of when. Do they know? They can't predict the weather next week, much less what a volcano is going to do. But when it does, it's
Mike said it's not in our lifetime.
You don't think so? How do you know? You didn't go to college. What the hell do you know? He's just sitting right there making.
He went to
stuff up.
college. He said that's how he knows.
Right. We don't know.
He went to college for broadcasting, but that's how you know. If you get a broadcasting degree, you know every damn thing.
Yes, at least that's what they tell you when you leave. It may happen tomorrow. You're right. It may not happen for another 10, 50 years, 1,000 years, because, again, we're dealing with that tiny little sliver of a timeline that is a lot bigger than what we realize. But it's going to happen. And I would say the odds of it happening tomorrow, given the facts that I'm a trained broadcast professional, and I have the AD card to prove it. I would, the odds are just as good of it happening tomorrow as they are of it happening in 100 years. Just saying. If you didn't see the leaked pictures of what the new iPhone 11 is going to look like, people are calling them ugly. They're going so far as calling them fugly. They've got, and a guy apparently 3D modeled them after some images leaked out. They got like 3 camera lenses on the front of the iPhone. They're taking away that clean, sleek Apple look if they release this thing, because looks like, it reminds me of the 3-eyed raven from Game of Thrones. But they say that's part of the new iPhone design that is going to be coming out. The beauty of it is you can get one or you don't have to. They don't care at patriotmobile.com/mojo50, because what they want you to do is just become a
what do you suppose they're using those cameras for, though?
The 3 lenses?
Yeah.
Well,
is it going to be like a zoom camera and a regular camera and then an infrared camera or something?
It's not going to be a zoom. There's not enough room in there for a mechanical zoom. They're all digital zooms.
Yeah.
By the way, when you take a picture with digital zoom, you might as well just take the picture wide.
And then zoom in
you're
afterwards.
Right,
because it pixelizes it anyway.
So I don't know. Maybe it's I guess it could be like a macro lens. Could be it. I don't know.
Oh, you know what?
The portraiture lens.
I think I remember them saying that.
There you go.
But that's ugly.
But either way, you can go to patriotmobile.com/mojo50, and you can get a cell phone account. And the beauty is that part of the money that you pay them each month actually goes to help fund conservative and libertarian causes, unlike those other big cell phone companies that they tend to fund some crazy left-wing, progressive, bad crap, crazy stuff. So be part of the solution, not part of the problem. PatriotMobile.com/Mojo50. Before we get into headlines, just want to let you know, I'll be doing them, by the way, first of all.
What?
Yeah, I know,
You mean
right?
it'll be an actual Brad Staggs?
I know.
Headlines?
You know what? If you leave... If you leave some recorded material the same, eventually it's right again.
It'll come back around.
Yes,
to
it
haunt
sure
you.
will. It sure will. Brandon is going to. I think Brandon's going to be in here on Fridays. He's got a lot. He's juggling a lot, so he's trying to make some time, and so he'll be here most likely on Fridays, and I'm sure will drop in from time to time.
Did you already give the announcement?
Just this second. You just heard it right just then.
No, not that announcement.
Which announcement? That you're pregnant?
No, the TV.
Oh, well, you're gonna which announcement?
I'm assuming you haven't talked about America's Voice News or America's Voice yet.
Have not.
Okay,
no, have not done that. Just kind of letting that percolate for a little while.
Okay,
but we'll talk about that in a second. But first, I think we should probably get to our headlines. Yes, I think it's a good idea.
We've scoured news platforms and agencies around the globe for today's most profound news headlines. Presenting them now, here's Brad Staggs.
I'm not even going to bother to try to make it rhyme. We're just going to give you 5 headlines. Your job is to decide which one isn't real or is fake, as it were. First headline, heat stroke kills monkeys as India suffers in searing temperatures. See how it's all in the delivery, by the way? I mean, that could be very sad if you... Heat stroke.
It could.
Kills monkeys as India suffers in searing temperatures. Or...
Yet you found a way to make it exciting.
Yes! Heat stroke kills monkeys as India suffers in searing temperatures. Details at 11. A troop of monkeys... It's like a murder of crows. A troop of monkeys died from suspected heat stroke in India as scorching temperatures that have lasted more than a week take a mounting toll on humans and animals. This according to media reports Saturday. Vast swaths of the country have been sweltering in temperatures that have risen to over 50 degrees Celsius. How much is that in Fahrenheit, Ron? How much?
I have no idea.
Good. See, another reason we should have just changed
106.
the metric system. 122.
122.
122 degrees Fahrenheit. The monkeys died in Joshi Baba Forest. At least they died with a smile on their face if they were saying the name of the forest. Joshi Baba in Madhya Pradesh state, where the thermometer reached 114 degrees Fahrenheit. District Forest Officer P.M. Mishra said the primates were believed to have fought with a rival troop over access to a water source. So you see, it wasn't just the temperatures, it was actually fighting. It was their toxic masculinity that got them. That's what it really was. Toxic masculinity. Now, see, speaking of the water sources, this next story kind of ties in because, again, I tell this story about the Mormons coming over the peak there in Salt Lake, what would be in the Great Salt Lake out there, and they're, we're home. Hey, Bob, Steve, you go down there, grab some water, and then we're going to set up camp here, and they come back, and you're never going to believe this. Because if you've ever been to the Salt Lake, woo! And how that all ties in is right here. Attempt at Great Salt Lake to break float record falls short. A gathering at the Great Salt Lake in hopes of making it into the record books fell way short. Park officials in Utah invited people to a beach on the lake's south end on Saturday, same day the monkeys got it, in an attempt to set the world record for the largest number of people floating together unassisted in a line at one time. See, the lake's high salinity makes it easy to float on the water. Apparently, people used to do that around the turn of the last century when it was much cleaner and less smelly. Utah park officials, I just read that. See, that's what happens when you don't drink this early in the morning. According to the Guinness Book of World Records, Argentina holds the current record after 1,941 people successfully floated together on the surface of Lago Epestion de Carhu in 2017. So you see, these people, just the fact that they were able to withstand the smell to get into the lake, just saying. Our next story, a man from Delaware is suing the Oscar Mayer Company after inserting heated sausages into his rectum and suffering from severe burns that necessitated a total of 7 surgeries. 46-year-old Juan Hernandez demanding $2.6 million from the meat and cold cut production company for the physical and psychological harm he suffered and claims were caused by the company's negligent labeling.
So, let me get this straight.
Yes.
He microwaved, and then he shoved, and it burnt
Yes.
the a-hole.
Yes.
And he's suing for that.
Yes. He said he first inserted the wieners inside the rectum. See what they did there. As a dare from one of his friends, but quickly felt excruciating pain and tried to take them out, but was incapable of doing so. See, that's what when you're a kid and your mom and dad say to you, hey, if Johnny put an Oscar Mayer wiener in their butt, would you? And you're going, well, I feel like this is a trick question, Mom and Dad, so I'm not really sure how to answer that.
I'm thinking if you put a hot wiener in your butt, your sphincter tightens up and it just won't come back out.
Would you do it for $2.6 million?
Yes.
Me too. I thought I could make some money on it. You better believe it. And Mike,
I tried not to hesitate on that, Brad.
Yeah, I know it didn't work. The funny thing is
Mike.
He's back there laughing at you because he's probably already tried it. Shaking his head. Mr. Hernandez was transported to the Bay Health Medical Center where doctors were able to extract the wieners and stabilize his condition. He suffered 2nd and 3rd degree burns that necessitated a series of reconstructive surgeries, which no laughing matter. I mean, if you got to have stuff operated on back there, not going to be fun. Just saying. That's why they always say, watch what you put in there. Moving along, a swarm of ladybugs that was so huge. Waiting.
I'm sorry, how huge was it?
Wow.
Sorry. I was thinking, was it the ladybug that was huge or was the swarm huge?
National Weather Service. I don't even have a punchline. I was just waiting to see. National Weather Service meteorologists noticed something puzzling on their radar screens in Southern California last week. It was a big green blob. It was very strange because it was a relatively clear day and we weren't really expecting any rain or thunderstorms. This according to Casey Oswant, a meteorologist in San Diego. But on our radar, we were seeing something that indicated there was something out there. So the meteorologist called a weather spotter in Wrightwood near the blob's location in the San Bernardino County mountains there. And Oswant says the spotter told them the mysterious cloud was actually a giant swarm of ladybugs.
Whoa.
That's a little freaky. You know, they're cute when there's 1 or 2 of them. When they start showing up on radar, you better run.
Those were the Africanized ladybugs.
Can you imagine if they... See, they're so cute. What if we're going to find out one day they're poisonous?
Oh, yeah.
Wait, what is it? This is probably urban legend, but like daddy long leg spiders, don't they say that those are poisonous, but their mouths are too small to bite you? I'm calling Bravo Sierra on that one, but it's going to be the same with ladybugs. We've known them for years as good luck charms. Now we find out they're deadly. Much like my ex-wife, if you want to know the truth. The phenomenon is known as ladybug bloom. Wow. And while this one appears particularly large, Oswant says it's not the first time local meteorologists have spotted the beetles.
The beetles?
Not the group, the bugs. Completely different.
Look, if a swarm of ladybugs looks like a ominous cloud.
Get out.
Get out. Yes.
Our 5th story for headlines this morning comes to us from downtown Dallas. There's a new mural in the Bishop Arts District that towers over anybody who walks past it. It's an explosion of color, otherwise be a dull cluster of bricks on the side of an apartment building. Mural took about a week and a half to finish. During that time, the North Texas painter, his name is John Bramblett, he could be seen on a blue lift raising 4 stories from the ground. He was directed by walkie-talkie from the ground because, you see, John Bramblett is blind. Lost his eyesight, they say, in 2001 while studying art at the University of North Texas. He's had epilepsy most of his life. By the time he was in college, his seizures had become life-threatening, would often stop his breathing. After a series of severe seizures one semester, his optic nerve suffered damage. He was blind. But
would he be considered the artist, or would the person on the other end of the walkie-talkie be considered the artist?
Wow, you are trying to take art out of the hands of a blind guy.
No, I'm not.
Wow. I mean, even it's 2019. You're questioning whether or not he's an artist. Why can't blind people be artists, Ron?
Because they're blind.
How dare you? He generally, when they say when he paints, he can feel the brush strokes.
Yeah.
Although if it's 4 stories tall, I'm not sure what feeling the brush stroke.
I don't know how you even paint a mural like that. How can you? I can't. I mean, you're too close to it.
Ask the ancient Mayans and the Incans who did all that stuff on the Great Plains down there. They were able to do it.
There are several murals in downtown Dallas. That'd be cool to see.
So there you have it. So one of those stories is not real. One of them is not real. It's the heat-stroked monkeys. It's the floating on Salt Lake. It's the wiener in wrong places. It's the ladybugs, or it's a blind guy painting a 4-story mural. You decide which one it is. In the meantime, here I am again to tell you about APR Coffee. Ron, what would you like to say about APR Coffee?
Well, I'm pretty partial to the Ron's sexual chocolate.
That's great, Ron. Great story. Thank you so much. Go to AmericanPrideRoasters.com.
What did you make this morning?
Actually, I think it was the Whitefield. Is it Whitefield?
Whitefield. Yeah.
Whitefield.
Matt, Matt doesn't like the Whitefield. He says it doesn't really have a...
It has a flavor. It's
just not as...
I'll be honest, it's not my favorite. I truly prefer your sexual chocolate.
I actually
not surprising.
do. Thank you. I actually do too. Because they finally got, he's got it right with that hint of raspberry.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And not everybody's going to like everything.
No.
So
the Cartel Bold is good.
Yes.
And there's another one that you make.
The Brandon Morse.
Oh, monkey. Monkey bread blend.
Boy, I almost said it too.
It's hard.
Monkey effer.
Yeah.
Anyway, go to AmericanPrideRoasters.com and get you some good coffee and get some coffee drops while you're there as well. Your guess at the...
Yeah, I'm going with the blind artist.
All right.
But our buddy Russ says the butt-burned wiener story is fake.
Well, Smacking Duck, I guess wiener, to borrow a phrase. He's agreeing with you. Bit of industry news. No, not that one. Attack Hole Yuki. I'm calling Bravo Sierra on the wiener story. Ladybugs. Huh.
The ladybug swarm. Somebody picked that?
The happy owl over on Twitter. Chai Boy in Iowa is going to sue Heinz, too, because their products did not provide the proper lubrication. And which would you use, mustard or mayonnaise in that situation?
Mayonnaise. I'd have to use.
I think you mayonnaise, because mustard,
mustard would burn a little bit.
Yeah, it would. Especially if you use the brown mustard. These are things you have to think about. If in
mustard would burn.
Yes, it would. The answer. The fake story amongst those 5 headlines. Yeah, it was the wiener story.
Oh.
So now I'm confused.
That means I've got a blind artist out there.
I don't know if it's that one or it's one of those. So I now have covered both. Both bases covered. No, the artist, that's what blew me away when I read that story. The guy is blind and he's up there
and he's being directed by a walkie-talkie. That's really cool.
And he's still, go see that. It's really wild because there's video of him painting and holding the other hand up so he can, and it's, just go look for it. It is amazing. Maybe I'll even tweet it if I'm in a giving mood. This is your Daily Mojo.
Free exchange of ideas. Mojo 50.
Never Forgotten Apparel is more than just a premium women's and men's clothing line. It's a movement to remind us to wear American-made and serve those who serve us. Our heroes. Never Forgotten Apparel gives 20% of their total sales to nonprofits that support homeless veterans and off-duty firefighters, and 50% to individual veterans and firefighters in need nationwide. Check out NeverForgottenApparel.com. Use promo code MATT, M-A-T-T, and get 15% off your purchase.
Hi, this is Lee Colan with your Leadership Matters Minute. Mentoring is an effective way to pass on experience and knowledge within an organization. But the technology revolution has created an ironic twist to traditional mentoring. Today, it's not uncommon for a young entry-level worker to have a better understanding of technology or some aspect of the operation than his manager. You know what? As a result, a lot of organizations are shifting into reverse. They're asking frontline, shop floor, and young tech-savvy employees to teach the old dogs new tricks. So, even if you don't have a formal program, try hanging around with your younger staff, even those who might be younger than your children. It's a guaranteed eye-opener. You can create your own form of reverse mentoring. It could be as simple as asking your children and their friends for feedback on a new product or service or idea you have. be ready for brutal honesty. If you don't have children accessible, borrow some of your friends. In either case, the children will feel valued and you will definitely get valuable feedback. I'm Lee Colan, and this is your Leadership Matters Minute. For more tips and tools, text the word leadership to 444-999.
Where can a guy get a drink around here?
I don't know. Ask Mississippi. I'm just collecting tickets tonight.
Come on, Peachy. I'm not slinging drinks tonight. I got caboose duty because Rusty is tired of it.
I thought Rusty liked the
I
caboose.
think Rusty's taking it in the caboose.
No,
Give me a drink.
He's driving the train.
Come on, guys. Come on. Can we stay on track for 5 minutes?
Well, this is off track.
Yeah, you're right. If you want to get derailed, join us every Sunday evening, 8 p.m. Eastern, only on Mojo 50.
The Daily Mojo.
You know, I thought it was tough in here when there were two of us. It's even tougher in here when there's only one of us. So, yeah, if you missed the announcement, Brandon is going to be he's still with us. He's still going to be here on Fridays. I've been trying to tell him he needs to bring back the Morse code. He needs to. It was a great show, and he's juggling too much on his plate. So, anyway, he will be here, I believe, on Fridays. And hopefully, if he takes my advice, just saying, Morse code on Saturdays. Brad Staggs' final shirt just tweeted the things that real Brad Staggs does for money. You'd think he could retire already.
You're drowning in debt. Like you're never going to retire.
I worked when I was in Nashville. I worked at WLAC and did afternoons. It was a music station. Brian Sargent was the music director, and he did middays, and he later went to another station in Nashville, I think Mix 92.9. And I just I found a picture of the day that I did a magic show for his little girl at the time, who was 3. The little birthday party, and did magic, sent him the picture, and he said, this is so cute. She's 26 now, and it's like, he says, and I'm retired. It's like, how did you work in radio? How'd you retire?
Because he's better than you.
You don't have to point out the obvious. So, yeah, someday I'll be able to retire.
Stop lying to yourself,
I
seriously.
know, it's... Attack Hole Yuki, the way you blow up a painting the size of a mural is to make the design on a regular size paper, but put a grid on it and then blow that grid up to the size of the mural and put the image from each grid square on the wall. Well, I knew that. Ron just didn't know it. But then when you take that and you translate it and you're blind, I mean, that's, you know what? That's an example of somebody who he just doesn't give up. When you, as an artist, if you go blind, I would be in the fetal position. I'd be a puddle on the floor. It's serious. I would be like, I can't. That's who I am. That's what I do. And now I'm blind. I can't even see it anymore. Oh, I'd be wallowing in self-pity.
Well, they also do like Braille art and stuff like that. I mean,
yeah, but I mean, and it would be different if, and that's what I always, if you are born blind, it's different than losing your sight later in life. Because you've
depended on your sight your entire life. Yeah, absolutely.
But especially when it's different than being, let's say, I don't know, a stockbroker or something. If you're a stockbroker, you go blind. There's Braille. I mean, you've got the readouts. You can hear what the stock market's doing. When you are an artist who
hire
paints,
someone to tell you numbers.
Right. As an artist, though, you depended on your eyesight to make your product, and then, man, talk about having to reinvent yourself. That's amazing.
I'd just be afraid of other people doing pranks on me, moving the couch a little bit to the left so I can trip over it.
It's amazing when you see what a friend of mine used to be the editor at Popular Woodworking magazine, and he went over to do a story on a guy's name. We'll call him Bob. I think his name was Bob. So, and Bob was a blind woodworker. Bob operated table saws. Bob operated band saws. Bob operated routers. Bob did a lot of things, and he was blind, couldn't see a damn thing.
That's a bad idea.
Well, he was very good at what he did, and I make it sound like he's dead. He's not dead as far as I know. So David, my buddy, goes over to do a little interview with him and find out, what it's like to be a blind woodworker. And he says, I got there, walked into the kitchen, and his wife said, yeah, Bob's down in the basement workshop. And Dave said, so she went over, opened the door. He said, I started walking down the stairs. I realized all the lights are off. It's pitch black in the basement. And he says, and I hear the table saw running. I'm like, and he realized, oh yeah, he doesn't need the lights. I can't. I've had.
It's like Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, I've had run-ins with table saws. I have given an eighth of an inch. I think I've given maybe 3/16 of an inch on one finger. You deal with spinning sharp things eventually. One of them's going to nip you. And I have the greatest respect for table saws and any spinning sharp thing. I can't imagine walking out into my shop.
Describe that pain losing.
Oh, it's not. It really does not hurt when it happens, because it happens. This was the irony of it is I was doing this is back in late 90s, and I was at the Nashville Network. We were recording shows for HGTV at the time, and I was doing a week on tool safety.
The irony is real.
And I was out on the dock, and the sun is gleaming. It was just in the right position to bounce off the table saw at the right angle, because it was a portable table saw, and so it blinded me a little bit. I reached down with my right hand to push some wood scrap out of the way, and kind of just barely, which kind of freaked me out a little bit, and then instinctively reached down my other hand to move it out of the way and put my little and ring finger on the blade of the table saw. So it did not hurt. I mean, it was like, kind of, it just shocks you. It's like somebody, slapping you on the wrist. But,
touching a hot stove real quick.
And then I pulled it away. And of course, you look down and it looked like I was bleeding like a stuck hog. It was going everywhere. But so I have complete and utter respect for tools. You have to. So given that, I can't imagine working in the dark with them. But this guy does. And
he's more of a man than you and me.
Yes, combined. In other news, I think a lot of people may have known this already. Researchers have found that dogs' cortisol levels mirror their owners during a stressful time. In other words, dogs can feel stress from their humans. When dog owners go through a stressful period, they're not alone in feeling the pressure. Their dogs feel it too. According to this study, the dog owners experiencing long bouts of stress can transfer it to their dogs. They've reported this in a study published Thursday in Scientific Reports. The Swedish researchers focused on 58 people who own border collies or Shetland sheepdogs. They examined hair from the dog owners and their dogs. Sounds strange. They looked at the concentrations of all of the hormone cortisol. This chemical is, of course, released into the bloodstream and absorbed by hair follicles in response to stress. It'll also make you fat. Don't we all know that?
As human beings, we don't deserve dogs. You feel down. They're there to console you.
Yeah.
They just want you to be happy. We're terrible. We're a terrible species for what we do to dogs.
The later you come home at night, the happier they are to see you. Unlike wives. The later you get home.
Is that alcohol in your breath? Yes, it is.
Yes, it is. How else do you think I can come home to you? But the dog's like, hey, it's good to see you. Hey, where you been? What are you doing? Can you sit down for a minute? Let's ball. Squirrel. They're just really happy.
If I'm having a bad day, I kick the dog. I'm like, leave me alone. And it's like, I just love you.
Why'd you kick me? I love you. I love you. Ball. It's squirrel. They say that the depression, excessive physical exercise, and unemployment are a few examples of stress that can influence the amount of this cortisol. That they also found it in the hair of the dogs as well, in both winter and summer. And this indicated, of course, that their stress levels were in sync. She thinks the owners are influencing the dogs rather than the other way around. Well, of course.
We are the superior.
Well, and how many dogs? I mean, what does a dog have to be stressed out over?
The crippling economy.
Right? They don't care.
2020 election.
Yeah. They don't care. They hang out. They have a good time.
Actually, my dog gets stressed out. So you think you can dance, who's going to win? The final.
Or The Bachelorette.
Or The Bachelor.
Okay.
How come Tommy's still on there? I mean, I don't.
Not going to pick that one, are you? You're not going to do that, are you?
You ever seen the videos on YouTube of the guy that the talking dog?
We're getting a puppy? You're going now?
Oh, they're hysterical. This coincides with the other story from the other side of the world. A Russian colonel has claimed that humans and animals and telepathy are all related. Russia's Minister of Defense published a paper about the possible existence of telepathy between humans and animals. It explains how the study of parapsychology by some within the Russian military teaches participants to penetrate the thoughts of the enemy as well as to hack into computer systems. Leave it to the Russians to
penetrate computers.
Wow. Yes. The paper is titled Super Soldier for the Future Wars. It was published in Defense Army Magazine. By the way, it's a good time to remind you to renew your subscription to Defense Army Magazine. It's incredible, and they've added new features. Wait till you go to their Christmas party. It's just amazing. Article was written by Colonel Nikolai Poroskov, who explained that they use parapsychological techniques like telepathy for combat purposes, revealing secrets, disclosing locations, and more. But if you order right now, we'll also show you how you can use telepathy to make your spouse do whatever you want them to do. He even discloses that Russian specialists have learned telepathy by working with dolphins. Just remember, have you ever swum with the dolphins?
I've never swum with dolphins.
Oh, just if you ever do not touch their genitals.
It's going to be the greatest thing I've ever felt. Is that what you're saying?
No, I'm saying they because they apparently go crazy.
They like it.
Something.
I go crazy when my genitals get touched too.
Well, apparently with dolphins, here's the weird thing about dolphins: they're all awfully cute, but when you get next to them in the water, they are huge. They are really, really big, and they have some stanky breath. They eat fish. They have absolutely horrid fish breath, and until they're next to you, going, you go, oh,
get away from me,
dude. Have a mint.
Nasty.
But you realize how big these things are, and when they are right there next to you, and they're coming straight up out of the water, and they're just doing it with their tail there, and it's like, woof. Do not piss them off. I love it. The website Collective Evolution. As a note to our readers, we here at Collective Evolution do not condone the use of animals for any type of experimentation. There is no information on the conditions of these experiments, but we are assuming they were captured for military purposes, which is extremely sad and heartbreaking. Now back to the story. Parapsychology seems to be the largest known threat to any type of secrecy, doesn't it? Yes. Trillions of dollars have gone into black ops programs in the U.S. to deal with parapsychology and pets. It's a changing, different world. Completely different. If you don't keep up with this sort of thing, it can get out of hand quickly.
Could you imagine having like an army of house cats?
I've always said a full-grown cat could take down a full-grown human man.
I agree.
It could, absolutely. I've got the, looking at the opposite hand from the table saw injury is a scar, probably 25 years old, that entails a stray cat that got into our house, and I made the mistake of picking it up twice. The first time I was good. Got it by the scruff of the neck. Stray cat wandered in, digging through the trash, got him I held him up. He gave me that, and somehow he wiggled. I dropped him. I went to pick him back up. I cannot recommend trying to pick up a stray cat the second time. By then, they've learned how your hands work, and they will bite you, and it did.
Did you fight it?
No.
What?
No. It bit, and I was like, ow, get out, and it took off. It was so bad, when I went to the emergency care clinic, the doctor was like, what the hell did that? I said, a cat. He's, Doc, hey, but calls his buddy, look what a cat did.
I would have squared up against that cat.
Oh, it's funny because a few weeks later, I would see the cat running around the house outside in the following weeks, and I would always I'd throw a rock or something at it. I hated that cat from that point on. You're fine if you're outside. You come into my house, you start messing with me, you're done.
Yeah, I got thumbs. What can you do?
You try opening a can, you little. And so one day I hear a knock at the front door. And I open the door, and there's a woman too sure. I don't know what. I'm so sorry. I was driving and I hit this cat right out in front, and I looked at it. It's that cat dead in the road. I was like, oh,
good.
I said, don't worry about it. I got this. I said, don't you worry about it. Are you sure? Yeah, I'm sure.
We're gonna start a fire with that cat now.
Oh, I picked him up a third time, threw him in the trash can. He was done.
Yeah, you won.
Yes, I did. Moral of the story: don't come into my house and bite me unless I've paid good money for it, in which case we can negotiate it. A report earlier this year, and this is kind of weird, remote mountains, they say, this is in Paris, a secluded mountain region thought to be free of plastic pollution is in fact blanketed by airborne microplastics on a scale comparable to a major city such as Paris, they say. Over a 5-month period in the past 2 years, an average of 365 tiny bits of plastic settled every day on each square meter of an uninhabited high-altitude area in the Pyrenees, straddling France and Spain. It's astonishing and worrying that so many particles were found in the Pyrenees field site. This, according to the lead author, Steve Allen. Not that Steve Allen, a different Steve Allen. This one is a doctoral student at the University of Strathclyde in Scotland. Study focused on microplastics, mostly between 10 and 150 micrometers across. That's tiny, by the way. And if we had switched to the metric system, I would have been able to tell you what a micrometer is. How big is a micrometer?
So it goes millimeter, micrometer, millimeter, centimeter, meter?
Okay, sure. So I don't know how big a micrometer is, but it's kind of small. Oh, by comparison, the human hair is about 70 micrometers in width. So it's some of them are smaller than human hair. Some of them are twice the width of a human hair. We would never have anticipated that this study would reveal such a high level of microplastic deposits.
It's 1/1,000,000th of a meter. That's a micrometer.
That's tiny.
It's about my size too.
There you have it. I know, it just felt like it deserved a bell. Let's not forget who wanted all these. We were just fine with paper bags back in the, what was it, the 70s? Paper bags. They were fine. And then all of a sudden we were cutting down too many trees and we had to have plastic bags. And so we got rid of the paper bags. And we have plastic bags and plastic this. And we have China, who provides us with innumerable unnecessary plastic objects on a daily basis. So I would think that those people bitching about the plastic would be all about the the tariffs on Chinese trade. We're cutting down on plastics and a lot of unnecessary plastic objects.
What about biodegradable products?
Here's the thing about the plastic bags. And I've said this before. If you go out into like the desert and you see a plastic bag, because that's one of the reasons they've always shown these pictures online of like plastic bags tangled up in fences out in the fields. These will never. If you go up to a plastic bag that's been there for, I don't know, let's pull a number out, 2 years, and you try to pick that plastic bag up, it crumbles in your hands.
Yeah, it tears to shreds.
Yes. It's just so they do degrade. Apparently, once you crumble them up, they become airborne and they end up somewhere in the Pyrenees, and that's what they're complaining about. My thing is this, everything that is we made plastics we gathered up stuff that came from the earth and we made something from it, right? So if it goes back to the planet, how's that pollution?
Because it's in the wrong part of the planet.
Aha. Have you ever thought about that? It's like everything we've made, everything that exists on this planet, yes, came from here. So, oh.
Yeah, but you've touched it and now it's contaminated.
Is that Kermit?
Could be. For a price. For a price, it can be anybody you want. Just close your eyes. Relax.
Oregon has voted to ban restaurants from offering plastic straws. Wow. They hate those straws. And you know who's having the biggest problem with it? Have you ever been to the bubble tea, the place that sells the bubble tea? Is
it boba tea or bubble tea?
Well, it's boba tea, but it's
boba tea.
Yeah, but they call them the little bubbles, don't they?
Yeah, the chewy.
They're tapioca.
Yeah.
They're really. I love the chewing those little balls.
They get stuck in my teeth.
You don't like them?
No, not a fan.
Is Ron behind the wall there?
Yes, he is.
He does. He likes them.
He hates them.
Oh, communist? Wow. I think they're good because it's like, I like tapioca pudding. So they are having a little bit of an issue with this, though, because when you buy those boba teas, or as I like to say, bubble,
you get that fat-ass plastic straw.
You do, because you have to be able to suck the balls up through it somehow.
Oh, yeah.
And they're having an issue because you can't, if you're going to be sucking the balls out of the boba tea, you're not going to be able to do it with these other straws, the ones that they're, biodegradable, whatever they are, because by the time you stick that down in the liquid, it comes, the straws get all misshapen and blech. The paper straws, they just don't work.
Well, just take that top off and, open wide and dump the balls in your mouth.
And by top, you mean your shirt.
I meant the plastic top.
See, I had a completely different mental image of this. I'm a little disappointed. The ban from restaurants automatically offering single-use plastic straws under a measure passed by lawmakers make it the second state to enact restrictions on plastic straws. They voted, and this was in the past week and a half, voted 48-12 to prohibit restaurants from providing single-use plastic straws unless a customer asks for one. We went through this same thing during a water shortage, and I can't remember if that was California or where, but it was verboten to give you a glass of water unless you asked for one. So then they could, but you had to ask for it.
It probably really did cut down, though, on water usage, just saying, we can't give you unless you ask for a glass of water. I bet you that did help.
You think?
Yeah, because, talking about millions and millions of people, not everyone's going to ask for a glass of water.
Well, that's true. And quite honestly, though, when was the last time you went to a restaurant and the water tasted good? I don't think I've ever been to a restaurant where I've taken the glass and I've had water at restaurants. It's like, God, it tastes like you got it out of the swimming pool.
Yeah,
Nasty.
but I don't really taste water. I'm usually pretty wasted by that point. My mouth is dry.
You're just thinking, I got to drink this so I don't have a hangover in the morning. That's the only reason.
Exactly.
Yeah, I understand. The governor in Oregon said, her name, by the way, is Kate Brown. She said that the move is about raising public consciousness of the plastic's effects on the environment and is meant to encourage more environmentally friendly lifestyle changes. Soon they will, I'm sure, switch back to paper bags because they are a much more environmentally friendly option. And then that'll go on for 30 years, and they'll bitch about the paper, and it'll be got to go to plastic, and thankfully I'll be dead by then, I think. Raising awareness to show the extent that we're relying on plastic is really important. And it is funny because if you go back in time and look at how they were marketing plastic back in the 50s, it's like, oh, plastics are going to make everything. I don't know. That's almost turned into Jar Jar Binks there.
And now
Misa, plastics go a long way.
Misa, your humble servant.
I hate that guy. So plastics they are apparently from the devil now, and the Newark, New Jersey Council they're debating on whether or not to ban plastic straws. As a matter of fact, I think they're doing it today. They're going to discuss a proposal to limit or ban the distribution of disposable plastic straws in Newark. Remember, this whole thing started from the kid up there in the Northeast who found a turtle. Says he found a turtle. I don't know.
With the six rings?
No, with a straw in his nose. Remember that? The turtle. You don't remember this turtle with a straw in his nose?
No, not at all.
Well, here's the funny thing. If you Google it, this kid, there is the turtle with the straw in his nose.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Now, here's my question.
He looks like he's doing a line.
Right. And who knows that he wasn't? Turtles are, they're notorious for, I just wanted to go faster. I thought I'd try some of this and look. It probably took him a long time just to get the straw firmly planted in his nostrils, and then some guy comes along and goes, hey, I'm taking that out. No, wait a minute. I just had that put in. And did it suck for... Wow. Or is that one of these? It's one of the two. Well, it did probably suck for the turtle. Here's the thing. Are you noticing anything similar about these pictures? It's all the same turtle. It's the same damn turtle with a straw in his nose.
Yeah.
It's not like this is a pandemic that there's turtles everywhere, because I guarantee you if there were turtles everywhere, straws stuck in their nose, there would be pictures of them.
He doesn't look very happy either.
No,
He
because
looks like that hurts.
You know how much it costs to have a straw inserted into your nose? A lot. They didn't even bother to ask him. They just decided they were going to help. They were going to help. They were going to take that straw out of that turtle's nose, and he was going to be happy about it, damn it.
Sometimes at wild parties, we find a turtle and just jam a straw up its nose, and we're like, yeah.
Right. So that is that was kind of the that was ground zero for the anti-straw movement, was that turtle right there. That was the turtle that launched 1,000 protests. Smacking Duck, we are all eventually going to have to carry around our own metal straws and wash them regularly. I guess restaurants could install metal straw washing sinks, but then you're wasting water. When we were in Vegas at the SHOT Show at the hotel, where'd we stay? Where'd we stay, Ron? Some hotel. The one with the hookers. Which one was that? He didn't remember either, does he?
No. He's thinking real hard.
Isn't that funny? You spend some time in Vegas and you can't remember where the hell you stayed. You just turned yourself down.
Did you stay at Planet Hollywood?
I don't know. No, it was in the same hotel. No,
you weren't.
I don't know,
because we were over at we had a timeshare.
Oh, I was wondering why you weren't at the hooker parties. Man, you missed some good times.
Or the Venetian. I don't know.
That's it. That's where the Venetian.
Well, that's where it was held. I didn't know you guys had a room there. But
they sold down in the little coffee shop there. They sold metal straws, reusable straws. So it's always, I mean.
Try jamming those up a turtle's nose.
Actually, they would probably go in a little easier. JR15, so real bad stags can't handle pussy cats and likes to suck balls. Got it. I didn't say anything about. Oh, I see what you did there. Wow, low hanging fruit. I'm not upset, JR15. I'm just disappointed. I mean, try to work a little harder. Didn't miss that one, did I? Ha! If you are, in fact, if you haven't gone to Mojo Wild Rice yet and ordered your grilling sampler pack for this summer, please do so this morning. Please go to mojowildrice.com and scroll down just a smidge, and you will see there, about midway down the page, you will see Grilling Sampler Pack 2019. That is where you will find happiness in a box, along with some jelly and other items. And the thing about it is, if you're doing any grilling out this summer at all, if you got the grill fired up in the backyard, you need to have this sampler pack just to give some of your summertime creations there for the picnic or the barbecue, a little something extra. I mean, the Northwoods jerk seasoning is fabulous on pork, salmon, or chicken. You use it dry or oil rubbed. Either way, it's good. I'm just going to leave it right there. Use the raspberry wine jelly as a delicious base for marinades or dipping sauces. And the sweet heat of the jalapeno pepper jam is perfect brushed on the grill or on the side as a dip. And you can get this all if you use promo code GRILL10. You will get 10% off the price there at mojowildrice.com. Edible memories from the Northwoods of Minnesota. Please, if you can, support our sponsors. Without them, without you, we would be guys sitting in our basement right now in our underpants and talking on a CB radio, most likely.
We practically are.
Yeah, I mean, we're one step away from that right now.
So going back on that hot dog story, would you have used mayonnaise or that jalapeno jam?
Oh, mayonnaise.
Mayonnaise still?
Yeah, because the jalapeno. Come on, you're not going to use the jalapeno
Come on, it's already
jam.
hot. See how much hotter we can make it.
Yeah, you're asking for third, fourth, and fifth degree burns at that point.
I might insert two at the same time.
If that point, if you could sue for $5 million instead of the 2.6, then the answer is yes. If I knew I was going to get a cool $5 million out of it, I would have. Yes, absolutely. At this point in life, I'm not proud. I'm just desperate. Big difference. Get your treatments communiques in. Use the hashtag What I Learned Today, and we will read yours on the air as if you're entertaining enough. Although that doesn't seem to be your prerequisite this morning for the Daily Mojo, does it? Coming back in a second.
This is the seditious, rabble-rousing, liberty-loving, home of fun, entertaining, and compelling talk. Mojo 50.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. Threats by the Iranian foreign minister are stoking rising tensions in the Persian Gulf.
Mohammad Javad Zarif warned the U.S. cannot expect to stay safe after launching what he described as an economic war against Iran. A stern-faced Zarif was offering a series of threats over the ongoing tensions gripping the Persian Gulf. Zarif said Mr. Trump himself has announced that the U.S. has launched an economic war against Iran and that the only solution for reducing tensions in this region is, he says, stopping that economic war. I'm Charles Sillatesma.
Busy on Twitter this morning, President Trump tweeting about a yet-to-be-announced immigration and security deal with Mexico.
The president says the two countries have agreed to another very important part of the immigration and security deal with Mexico. He tweets that details will be revealed in the not-too-distant future. The agreement apparently requires a vote by Mexico's lawmakers, and the president says tariffs will be imposed if there's a problem with the vote.
That's White House correspondent Greg Clugston. One eyewitness says it felt like an earthquake when a giant construction crane fell onto a 5-story apartment building in Dallas yesterday. One person killed, 5 others injured. Kevin Collins was in the building at the time.
I'm highly grateful. I could have been dead. The man next door, I believe he sustained very critical injuries to his neck. He could not move. He couldn't stand. 2 people had to grab him and take him out.
He spoke with KDFW-TV. It was very windy at the time of the accident. Former Red Sox great David Ortiz recovering in a hospital after being shot at close range in a nightclub in the Dominican Republic. A suspect's in custody. Nothing yet on a motive for the shooting. On Wall Street this morning, Dow futures up 125 points. S&P futures 14 points higher. More on these stories at townhall.com.
Hey, are you tired of high cable TV rates? Sign up for Dish today and get a $500 bonus offer while supplies last. Plus, lock in your price for 2 years guaranteed. Call All American Dish, your Dish authorized retailer now.
800-570-6630. 800-570-6630. That's 800-570-6630. Offers require credit qualification, 24-month commitment, early termination fee, and e-auto pay. Restrictions apply. Call for details.
Hi, it's Doc Thompson for Matthew 25 Ministries. Matthew 25 Ministries is one of the few charities I'll actually endorse because I know them. I've worked with them, and I know almost all of the money that you donate goes to help people. Go to m25m.org. m25m.org.
A former Democratic National Committee member told Politico on Monday that he will become national senior advisor to the Draft Beto campaign. That sounds like a horrible beer, probably a Pilsner.
The Defenders with Stephen Airy, tonight at 9. Mojo 50.
Do you like good coffee? I do. Do you like amazing coffee drops? I do too.
American Pride Roasters, historically great coffee. Did you know if you drink APR coffee or eat APR coffee drops, it will instantly heal any ailment you have?
The legendary Fountain of Youth wasn't just one fountain, but actually many fountains close to each other. Each fountain had a different APR coffee in it instead of water.
Coming soon to APR is Washington, D.C. blend. It is just a bag full of hot air.
APR coffee drops are not just a superfood. They're a super duper ultra mega Doppler food. They are by far the healthiest thing you can eat.
Want to know the secret to what makes APR taste so good? They use the happy tears of unicorns. Go get yours today, AmericanPrideRoasters.com. That's AmericanPrideRoasters.com. Get yours today.
This is the Mojo 50 Institute for the Advanced Application of Freedom. Ya bitches.
The mothership has landed.
So it's always funny when you're having a conversation. You can tell when somebody walks in the middle of it and they make a comment. You're like, yeah, but that's not really what we were talking about. It was Attack all you. I'm not sure if maybe they knew what we were talking. Hashtag what I learned today. Jalapeno relish on a hot dog is amazing. I bet it is if you put it in the right hole. Wow, I did just Because when you are doing what the guy had to do to sue for $2.6 million, jalapeno relish is what we call additional insult to added injury.
Which it wasn't a real story, right? It was a fake story.
That's true.
Fake, yeah.
That was true. But that doesn't mean that it hasn't happened. Because somebody somewhere has done that one.
I've done weird things. Not anything like that, but stranger things have happened.
Want to share with the class?
Well, okay. Well, I can't believe I'm really going to tell this story.
Sorry, nobody's listening. It's just you and me.
Okay, I don't think so. But
feel free to go ahead and take off your shirt. We're good.
So, the ball pumps with the little needle?
Yes.
All right, just imagine.
Wow.
Yep.
Whoa.
Yep. So it was a dare. It was a dare because we were bored.
Wow.
And he said, "I bet you won't put this."
And you did.
And I was like, "Give it to me."
Did you make money at least?
No, because I'm just stupid. That's what happens when you're like 16, 17. You do stupid things. He watched me. He watched me insert, and then he said, "Pump air, pump air," and I went. I went down just a hair and went, "This is stupid," and I stopped.
Yeah, that's
not my proudest moment.
See, I can understand if there was a couple of $100. I mean, 16,
$5. It was $5. Wow. I'm a cheap lay.
Did you learn a lesson from that?
Yeah, I still feel it to this day when I think about it.
Wow. I can. I mean, if it had been $300 or $400 involved, I might have been right there. But who knows?
Everyone has a price. Mine's just set pretty low.
Yes, there's a price for everything. Mojo Jedi just tweeted, metal straws would be great weapons. When will the ban on all straws start? Yeah, that's true. You try to take a metal straw on board an airplane. What do you want to bet? They will. What do you want to bet that they will? Oh, you can't have those. Can't have them.
You can't have those on an airplane?
I mean, if you can't have a screwdriver, excuse me, you could have a screwdriver that was, under 6 inches in length? Which, of course, was bad for men because, men in 6 inches, they can never get that
and
measurement.
We went side by side with it, of course. Yeah, absolutely.
We stood in an airport one time and had it. They were like, we got to measure the screwdriver. And we're like, no, just keep it, really. Because we had our camera gear and it was like, we'll get another screwdriver. No. We got to measure the screwdriver. It's like, so with a screwdriver that's 5.5 inches, you couldn't possibly do anything damaging with that. But once that screwdriver gets to a good solid 6 inches, you can't bring it on a plane.
I think that using a screwdriver, I mean, you could jam that in someone's ear.
Of
you could do
course.
something. Yeah, so metal straws, same thing. I would honestly
you can
say
do it with a pen. You can if they outlawed pens on an airplane, take your reading glasses, snap the arm off. You can pop that in somebody's eye. I can think of all kinds of gross things to do with it.
I think that the dumbest rule that they have is going to be shampoo bottles,
yes,
suntan lotion, because they said that they could be used as bombs, right?
Well, yeah, they
explosives.
They limit it to 2 ounces per.
That's it.
But the thing is, so you could have 5 or 6 2-ounce things, all of the same thing, and then when you
make mini bombs,
yes, you get on. I mean, if you get the right combination of chemicals. You can make a lot of science experiments on board a plane with 2 ounces here and 2 ounces. It's security theater is all it is. It's asinine. It doesn't do anything except annoy the rest of us who have to pretend that it's actually doing anything worthwhile. Sad story. California man has pled guilty to stealing a critically endangered lemur from the zoo. Is what is this world coming to when you can't even, when your lemurs aren't even safe?
I'm not going to lie. What's a lemur?
Oh, you don't know. Oh, lemurs are, hang on a second. And actually I'll, let me make this bigger for you. And then I'll show it to you. How's that sound? I'm talking about a video, people. What is wrong with you?
I feel like an innocent child.
Primate enclosure at the Santa Ana Zoo last summer. Investigators say they've actually connected that caper to a rash of other crimes in the county, and now they made an arrest.
It is a story you'll see only on CBS 2. CBS 2 Orange County reporter Michelle
a stolen lemur
in Santa Ana with details. Michelle.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you know what, Pat? Isaac is the oldest lemur in North America.
Which makes him an even... I mean, okay, let me just stop for a second. So now we're dealing with a senior lemur. This is elder abuse.
It's a silver alert.
It's a yes. If you've seen this lemur, he's he wears
License
glasses,
plate.
right? Can't remember where he parked anymore. I mean, this sad. I didn't realize the story was this sad. Continue.
Zookeepers were here in Santa Ana when he disappeared. Now, police say the culprit is known to them for other crimes. And had he not bragged about this one, they say he might have gotten away with it.
Let me on Facebook, right?
The senior lemur. I mean, the oldest guy of the bunch.
He's a mystery thief.
Look,
no more.
right there. Right. Oh, to the little icon comes right up in the middle of his face, but. I mean,
Meth
who
Meth
wouldn't
face.
trust that guy? You're right. Yes, that's exactly what it is.
Burglar who ran off with
Wow.
32-year-old Isaac, the Santa Ana Zoo's ring-tailed lemur last summer, has been identified.
Wow.
He is 19-year-old Quinn Casbar, the same man charged in dozens of burglaries in his hometown, Newport Beach.
He hasn't
Until
slept in
this
days.
video
No, he
outside
has
the
not.
Newport Beach Hotel was the only solid clue detectives had. It appears to be a man in a hoodie dropping off a box.
With a lemur in
is
it.
The endangered primate and a note saying this belongs to the Santa Ana Zoo. It was taken last night. Please bring it to police.
Why is that called a clue and not the answer to the yes? Right there. Here's a clue. It's the lemur that was stolen with a note explaining that it was stolen.
That he's on a 3-day meth binge and right now stealing a lemur is the best effing thing he can do.
Wow. He woke up one day and went, holy shit, there's a lemur. It's like The Hangover when they wake up and the tiger's in the bathroom. He woke up, there was a lemur in the bathroom.
Just staring at him.
It's like, dude, you look like a really old lemur. Lemurs are really cute. I can understand wanting to kidnap them, wanting to, take them places and
The
have
lemur
fun.
keeps asking him, are my kids going to visit me today?
Your name's Ted, right? Ted, why do you look so bad? You need some rest. Lemurs are awfully cute looking little animals. They will eat your face. We always make that mistake. We think the things that are cute, it's like the gremlins. They were cute. They'll eat your face. Or the monkeys.
And we always bring our face really close to it.
First thing we do is, who's a good little lemur? You are. Then it's like, remember the woman who had the monkey up in wherever that was? And that
tore her face off.
Because it's a monkey. It's a wild animal. Yeah, but these are my family, and I would raise. It's still a monkey.
There was actually a documentary on Netflix, and it was about not Coco the gorilla, some other really famous monkey that they had raised since birth.
Right.
And they had the caretaker, I guess, like the zookeeper caretaker, was holding the monkey like a baby.
Would you like to touch my monkey? And
he just took one giant chomp of her cheek.
Yes!
Just sank his teeth right into her cheek. And he knew sign language. And so then she drops the monkey. And afterwards he was trying to do the I'm sorry. I know this is thank you, in hand gestures, but he was trying to say I'm
not
sorry.
Ask why you know monkey sign language. That's all right.
And she had 3 holes right across her cheek.
All right.
Never could get close to the monkey again.
Which is just a shame. Once you've, when you've been hurt like a monkey like that, you can never, your relationship is never quite the same after that. You see, that's what
Just
animals
spank the monkey, don't
you
you?
really do. You want to spank the monkey all day long. In the wild, animals do this thing. They do. It's like when Siegfried and Roy. I say I'm one of those weird people that think that the tiger at Siegfried and Roy was literally trying to get him off the stage, not trying to hurt him,
rescue him. Yep.
Right, but was
You're right.
But being a human being, his neck was not structured in such a way that a tiger's mouth wouldn't hurt him. It was structured in such a way that a tiger's mouth would, end up doing some very bad things, which it did.
He had a stroke, right?
Yes,
Didn't he have a stroke before?
Yes. Well, they don't know if it was before, if he had the stroke and then the tiger drug him off. I mean, there's some, I don't think the science is settled there. I think it was.
And that animal had to be released back into the wild, too, because it tasted blood, right?
No, they kept the tiger. They did not have it out at the habitat, though, at the at not Treasure Island, the one next to it, the one where they had their show, which, by the way, fabulous show. But animals behave differently than humans because they're animals.
Yes.
And
with instincts.
Yes. And I would be willing to bet that a monkey could probably bite another monkey's face and not have as much damage as it does to it because they're covered with hair and probably tougher skin. So a monkey doing that is like, the other monkey's going to backhand and bitch slap the little monkey for biting his face. And guess what? That monkey's not going to do that again. Does it to a human being? Oh.
She said she could push her tongue through the cheek.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's because
months of recovery.
You had a monkey in your face. And the woman who had her face, what a horrible thing to have happen, but
ripped off.
It was a monkey. You had it in your face.
Do you think he started from like the top of the forehead and just proceed to tear off face?
Oh.
Like a mask.
And people, after they see her now with she's had her face rebuilt. Oh, she looks so much better.
No, she looks like a Halloween mask.
Yes, it's. I mean, a horrific thing. Try not. And there was the story. Remember the newscaster who they were doing a pet adoption week. Remember the dog that they had on the set, and she got down there, and this happened. I don't know, 3-4 years ago maybe. And it was this is Ralph, our little our border collie here. He's a little timid, but he's up for adoption, and you're gonna anchor. Oh, look at little Ralphie, and she puts her face right next to him.
Why do we do that?
The dog bites her face. It's like, jeez, it's a dog. Don't put your face in a dog's face.
You are a stranger.
Yes, and the dog's going, stranger danger, stranger danger. She got oh, the dog was just doing what dogs do.
Nobody adopt this dog. This dog is mean. No, you're just stupid.
Yes. The dog doesn't like stupid people. Good grief. I just sometimes.
All those lights, the cameras, all the people standing around.
Yes.
And they're like, somebody buy this dog.
Right. Just take him home. He's a really sweet dog. Good with children.
He's freaking out.
Yeah. People don't get it. What they probably need is to do more of these. The headline here, they broke my mental shackles. Could they be the answer to depression? New trials have shown the drug to be highly effective in treating depression. Oakland is the latest U.S. city to, in effect, decriminalize it last week. Some researchers say it could become indefensible to ignore the evidence, but how would it work as a reliable treatment? The drug is psilocybin. The drug psilocybin is found inside magic mushrooms.
So they're a hallucinogen.
Yes. Well, yeah. And the Oakland has decriminalized. It's still illegal to sell them, but if you are caught with them, it is no longer a criminal offense. And I don't know if they have an amount restriction, but Denver did the same thing. And again, mushrooms, they grow, right? I mean, just like pot. Pot grows.
It's a fungus.
Yeah. So why are they illegal?
Because it impairs your ability to think straight.
Oh, good thing alcohol doesn't do that.
It doesn't do that.
Right.
Alcohol makes me happy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, when you stop and really think about the drug laws in this country, it's just asinine that we...
Oh, it's all political.
Yeah.
And business.
Yeah. That's all it is. It's the alcohol industry going, oh, man, no, if people start doing mushrooms, they're going to drink less Michelob. And by the way, what's Michelob? Remember Michelob was actually a viable beer? Ugh.
Now it's just like seltzer water.
Ugh. Yeah, the alcohol industry is very persuasive in keeping out the other mind-altering substances that could interfere with their bottom line. So that is why we don't see mushrooms, we're starting to see it now, though, that they are finally losing their grasp on these other industries, really.
Well, wasn't it it was the paper industry that really wanted to keep marijuana down, right? Because of you could use the hemp as a more viable source of paper.
Yes, and that was part of it. And Hemp Hill, Texas, as a matter of fact, named after hemp.
I never could put two and two together.
Right? Their economy down there, they grew hemp, and then with the illegality of it, that screwed them all up. Hemp is, that's the part that amazes me, is that hemp is, you don't smoke hemp. It just happens to be related. It's in the same same family. So it is all it is stigma. That's all it is. It's societal stigma. No wonder UFOs don't land in the middle of the town square. We're freaky people. Wait, you guys hold on. This stuff over here you don't smoke, but why is it illegal again?
It's like,
because it was efficient. Okay, you guys you work your stuff out, and we'll come back in a few years.
Yeah, they travel over to Times Square, and then they look down, and there's a fat chick writing beautiful all over herself, and they're like, yeah,
Right.
we'll just come back later.
Yeah, you guys, when you mature into some sort of a relevant species, let us know. We'll be back.
We've been watching for centuries. It's not happening.
Still, back when you crawled out of that primordial soup, you're just you're barely out of the pond. With magic mushrooms, wouldn't that be amazing if, in fact, instead of taking all of these different drugs for depression and other ailments that we have, wouldn't it be amazing if something like mushrooms treated it effectively?
So something like that. I feel like with prescription drugs, as much as Big Pharma has, a grasp on society, I think certain things, that cause mind altering responses freak me out. Like, marijuana. So we've all smoked pot in this room. Okay, let's be honest about it.
Hell, I'm smoking it right now.
I have the worst anxiety attacks when I smoke.
Some people do. Some people, when they drink, they do crazy things.
Yeah.
Or it affects them in different ways.
That's true.
Doc had to watch out for anything with like pseudoephedrine or something in it because it made him anxious. So with like cold medicines and that, so there, everybody is going to be different, and
it's just a side effect.
Mm-hmm. And that's the thing about it, is that we create all of these drugs. And when I say we, there's a need for drugs, obviously, because they have their part in the world, they have their place. But wouldn't it be amazing if you could get some of the same effects from, like I said, eating the mushroom or eating the leaves off of an almond tree? I don't know. Pick a plant.
What is it? The coca leaf? The
coca leaf. When remember, they used to put Coca-Cola got its name from the coca leaf because it had cocaine in it.
What a time.
Right. And I think it was about that same time you could go and they sold morphine over the counter at drugstores.
Just drink the bottle.
Ta-da.
You'll
right.
be fine.
You know what? Just give me the whole damn bottle. I'll be good.
I have a runny nose. Drink morphine.
Yeah. Right. So these social constraints that we put on things, and I hope that in decades and centuries to come, they look back and go, what were they thinking? Why were they? Okay, they had all these drugs over here that did this, that were manufactured. Think about the fact that it would cut down on the plastics. We wouldn't have all those plastic pill bottles that are going right back into the landfill, polluting the Pyrenees.
You think they would use hemp?
Yes. So you could have hemp. You could have hemp containers. The answers are staring them right in the face. They just will not stop and look at them.
Because it hurts their business. It's exactly what it is. It's almost like you're talking about the social stigma. Smoking pot makes you a lazy person.
Some people it does make lazy.
Homosexuality was linked to pedophilia at one point in time, and then you had all the racial issues back in the 60s. Yep. Everything just takes decades and decades and generations.
Yes, it does.
To go away, basically.
And I'm not sure we will ever come completely out of the woods, but it's the thing is there might be a little hope for humanity. I just don't want to get my hopes up. That's all. I'm cautiously optimistic for the future. Pink effing Freud, you bitches, over on the Twitter. Hallucinogens change the way I look at the world. Never again, though. See? And I have friends in California who are very left-leaning, and they will drink alcohol, and this whole this is the weird part. They'll drink, but then they started complaining about the fact that California had legalized marijuana.
Why?
I don't know, but it was. First of all, I thought, okay, wait a minute.
That's like one of
you guys lean
y'all's
left.
main campaigns.
Who are you and what have you done? When I just never talk politics with them, but which doesn't make any sense. You'll drink, but pot's bad. Oh, bad, very bad. It doesn't make sense to me. But then what do I know? I'm just some guy who didn't go to college. Quiet guy in the back. Hashtag what I learned today. Is there a correlation between anxiety when you smoke and being happy when you drink? Is that common? I've heard that before. Correlation between anxiety when you smoke and being happy when you drink. Well, okay, first of all, remember being happy when you drink. You know why Hitler couldn't drink tequila? He was a mean drunk.
He was horny.
Yeah, that too. But the thing is, alcohol makes some people mean. It makes some people amorous. It makes some people sleepy. It makes other people anxious. It does a lot of different things. It depends on how your body processes it. And that's true with any drug. Which, by the way, they are now saying that our gut bacteria is actually dismantling the drugs that we take. That if you don't have your gut, if you let's say you got a prescription for something and you get it filled, it's not doing well, you're not getting the same results from it, whatever, it could actually be your gut bacteria they're finding. So, and I swear to you, I think that one of these days they're going to discover that gut bacteria, there's the cure for cancer is somewhere in the in the microbiome
100%.
is your gut, and we just have to find it. But it's pretty amazing that now that they're saying even because a lot of drugs are broken down in the intestines, not in your stomach. And they say new research on the microbiome has found that many species of bacteria living in our guts digest and metabolize a high percentage of the popular drugs we take. The findings reveal an enormous factor sitting between taking a med and experiencing the desired effect. Bacteria may be dismantling and changing it before it ever hits your bloodstream, with potential implications for how drugs work and if they work. They tested 271 oral drugs, including antidepressants like Prozac, blood pressure meds, cardizem, and a cancer drug called Gleevec. The drugs exposed the drugs to 76 dominant bacterial strains from the microbiome, including common strains. The results showed bacteria metabolized 2/3 of the drugs.
Do you take any blood pressure medication?
Nope. Yeah.
I've heard a lot of dangers with blood pressure medications lately. Apparently, like muscular dystrophy was one of them. I've also heard like it's increased chances of cancer and stuff like that as well.
Well, it is interesting again when you consider the stuff that's out there and available. It's stuff you clip off a plant. Take this, or you can take this thing we made over here in the lab. But take care of your gut bacteria, and the best way to do that is at lovemytummy.com/mojo. If you do that, you will look like the woman on that page, right? I mean, you will just, when you go to that website, you'll say, "Whoa, that's her. That's what she felt like right after taking Atrantil." If you're
in a major dump.
Oh, well, there's that too. Yes, and you know what? If you're not regular, that will piss you off. I mean, that'll make you grumpy for a long time, not being regular. So if you want to get a regular, although that's not real. I mean, look, go to lovemytummy.com/mojo. Find out why Atrantil can help you with the bloating, the abdominal discomfort, and in the words of Jeremy Hansen, the explosive bouts of diarrhea. I will forever link those two. They've got a special deal for you there, by the way, at lovemytummy.com/mojo. Don't deal with abdominal discomfort without taking Atrantil. And your Daily Mojo.
High capacity, fully automatic, large caliber, freedom. Mojo 50.
While I was away, we had one of the biggest flip-flops in modern American political history. Good old Uncle Joe, the man we're supposed to believe is a rock-solid, conviction-driven politician, did the exact opposite on the Hyde Amendment. After 40-plus years of support and voting to protect the Hyde Amendment, which does not allow federal dollars to fund abortion, Biden flipped after just 24 hours of intense pressure from the left. Why? He cites the effects of new laws at the state levels on minority communities and the poor amongst them as his reasoning for the change of position. But the numbers suggest that if Biden truly cared about the lives of minorities in this country, support for the Hyde Amendment would be a good thing. Guess who's having the most abortions? African Americans are just 13% of the overall population, but make up 39% of all abortions, while Hispanics account for 25%. Combined, that's 64% of all abortions. Enter this piece from the Washington Examiner, in which Michael New, a Stanford-trained political scientist/statistician, was hired to statistically take a look at the effects of the Hyde Amendment. What he found would be shocking if politicians cared about the living more than dead babies, apparently, because new study indicates that just about 60,000 babies are born every year thanks to the Hyde Amendment. In greater detail, New found through studying various statistics available on the issue of abortion that the Hyde Amendment saved the lives of 1.52 per 1,000 abortions on an annual basis. Since the enactment of the Hyde Amendment, that means 2.25 million Americans were born instead of aborted. To put that final number in perspective, that's nearly one of every 150 of us Americans walking around today. So, Uncle Joe, I'm asking you this. Are you really suggesting that we should be killing more minorities than abortion already does in this country? I'm Andrew Coppins. This has been By the Numbers, and you can follow me on the socials at The Coppins Show.
By the Numbers with Andrew Coppins is powered by Patriot Mobile, America's only conservative cell phone company offering super reliable nationwide service, donating a portion of their profits to organizations fighting for our conservative values. Call 1-800-A-PATRIOT or visit patriotmobile.com.
The Daily Mojo.
Wrong guy behind the glass sounded so serious in that little boy. That was you, wasn't it, Ron? On that little commercial, that last one? It wasn't. It should have been. Over in the MeWe chat room, they are discussing the ins, the outs, the ups and the downs of drugs. Addictive personality is generic. Or not generic, genetic. Correct. My family, my dad's a recovering alcoholic. That's been passed down to males in my family. So drugs and alcohol affect different people differently. Mojo 50 Grippy says, I'm addicted to food. I know that feeling. Chocolate especially. Why does chocolate have to be
what it is? Chocolate, why are you the way you are?
Damn it. Everything I like is either immoral, illegal, or fattening.
Everything's bad for you.
It really is. It sucks the pleasure right out of life. And you can't even get a good straw anymore. Damn it. On the Twitter, are they saying anything interesting? Mark T-Bolt, I can see it now. Future alcohol industry leaders capitalize on state legalization of psychedelic mushrooms. Bud Light Lime, now with psilocybin. Oh, you know it's coming. Enjoy with your friends so you can all hallucinate together. Please drink the walls responsibly.
Drink the walls.
That's good. Well, yeah, there's a huge the beverage industry with THC in it. Huge. All of a sudden, yeah. So you can get drinks with the active psychoactive ingredient in marijuana.
Is it called dry? Like drink high? Put it together.
Oh,
dry.
That's good.
Yeah.
That would actually be a good marketing technique as opposed to like, drink Bud Dry. Don't ask why. That was the dumbest campaign ever. Speaking of marketing, 5 myths about marketing to Gen Z from a member of Gen Z. Because everybody, and Doc was big on this too. You got to get Gen Z. You got to get them. As he used to say, bring them in for with the dick jokes, then tell them about God. Any way you can get to them. It's true. I mean, why not? If the end is to bring them to the right side of the fence, bring them in any way you can. If you have to kidnap them, kidnap. Put them in the back of the trunk.
You start like talking about tickling testicles to lure them in.
Right. See?
Ooh.
Whatever it takes. It's better. Is that not better than a monkey eating your face?
That is true.
There you go.
Peeling it off
it's
piece
all,
by piece.
Everything is in context. They say the first myth, everything has to look perfect to attract Gen Z. They say so many brands competing for Gen Zs. Are you a Gen Z? You're I'm
a millennial, 90.
I'm on the cusp of baby boomer Gen X. I'm right there. I'm conflicted. I have
66?
4. I have so much inner turmoil. I don't know whether I want to be. I just don't know. I've so many. If you could see what was happening in my mind right now.
Well, I mean, there's not going to be any more Social Security for you whenever that comes up.
No, but I work in radio, and, I'm rich. What's money to a rich man?
Stop crying.
Right. Myth, everything has to look perfect. You may think with so many brands competing for Gen Z's hearts and dollars, The brand advertising has to be picture perfect, flawless models, looking great in the clothes, A-list celebrities endorsing the products. Not so with Gen Z. They say that that finally the Photoshop legacy is catching up. The perfect bodies, the Photoshopped Instagram pictures you're seeing, the Gen Z really wants things that are authentic. They say that after American Eagle stopped using Photoshop on their models' photos, their sales skyrocketed. Nearly 2/3 of Gen Zers surveyed said they'd rather see ads with real people than celebrities. Perfection in ads is ubiquitous, but Gen Z is tired of seeing that. What they really want is reality, something that often seems to be in short supply online today.
Authenticity.
Authenticity. Be authentic. If you could fake that, you are in. And it's true because there's no, I mean,
that's true.
The thing about these stupid, all the models, I mean, these, you see them in the clothes and it's like, that's all they do all day is work out. You're never going to
eat cotton.
Right.
They eat cotton.
Or hemp. They're going
or hemp. They're eating the hemp.
They say a second myth that Gen Z isn't brand loyal at all. They say that's a myth. The generation actually loves uniqueness. Again, this was written by a Gen Zer. So it would make sense that we don't care about brands. And it's true that Gen Z cares less about branding than other generations. 60% of Gen Zers surveyed neutral when choosing between name brands and no-name brands. See, that's it, like generic. I remember, let's see, I think I remember when generic like products were introduced. I think that started happening in the late 70s, if I'm not mistaken. That you could, and it may have had, maybe I was just aware of it by then, but anyway, you would have these like at Vaughn's and Safeway and all that. You would have, when they started, they were just like black and white labels, and it said corn. Be like next to the Libby's,
or
can
just
of corn.
Beer,
right?
Like
Yes.
the canned beer.
Yeah, and it was kind of weird because you, like with the corn, it's like, oh, well, that says what it is. It's corn.
It's pretty straightforward. But
you realize that, oh man, look what advertising has done. It has trained me to look at the Libby's label and go, oh, but I can see a picture of the corn. Oh, look, the people look happy eating it. Oh, look, Libby's. I know that name. This one just says corn.
Look at that pizza box.
Right.
Dad's still with the family. Right. I want that pizza.
If I eat your pizza, Daddy will come home. You want to run off with this French model. We've been trained through advertising to look for the literally the name brand. Do you buy stuff that is generic?
Oh yeah, it's cheaper.
That's the way I look at it. And sometimes you'll get the generic and you'll go, yeah, this doesn't
taste as good.
Doesn't taste, but and then in that case, if you like the taste of the brand name better, go back to the brand name. But the reality of it is, a lot of it comes out of the same plant. I mean, they might say plant. I don't mean the growing plant. I mean the processing plant. So some of them, it may be the pieces of corn that weren't perfect. You know, that they put those, the reject pieces. They taste great. They're just misshapen a little bit, like a monkey ate part of the corn's face. That sort of thing. And those become the generic in some cases. But it still tastes good. And it's cheaper. Because every time you buy the brand name, you're paying for the advertising.
What's wild is the over-the-counter medicines. You know, your NyQuil, a big ass thing of NyQuil is like $13, but
Yes.
the Walmart brand or whatever is $4.
I always do. It's like, how in the, and some people will actually, you know what, I know the NyQuil, but I'm going to take the NyQuil. It's like,
you're wasting so much money.
Whatever. But that's how effective advertising like that is. They say 60% of Gen Zers are neutral when choosing between name and no brands. But they say, here's a fact you almost never hear. My generation can still be loyal to a brand if that brand can earn our trust. No company, they say, has cracked the Gen Z brand loyalty code more successfully than Apple. A survey found that as of spring this year, a new high of 83% of U.S. teens own an iPhone, and 86% plan on their next smartphone being an iPhone. So this is Gen Zers, they say, are clearly capable of loyalty. Apple is one of those brands, though, that
Their products are just far superior.
They are, but by the same token, I went to the Genius Bar Friday night because I have one of the 2017 MacBook Pros, the first ones that they put the new butterfly keyboard on. The butterfly keyboard is big improvement over what used to be on the Mac. No, it isn't. It sucks. You created a keyboard and I remember when we got these, and I started typing. I like the computer, but I started typing on it. It was like, these keys do not feel like what I'm used to with my old MacBook.
Does it not push down?
It's tactile. Tactily different.
It matters.
It really does.
It matters.
These are not as buttery smooth as the other keyboards, and it's because they got in there and they put this butterfly mechanism that's supposed to make it so much easier and blah, bitty, blah, bitty, blah, bitty, blah. And what happens is, you know what? As Scotty once said on Star Trek, you start overtaking the plumbing and all you're doing is asking for a clog. And that's what they did, is they tried to make it, they tried to complicate something that was nice and simple, and it kind of screwed it up, because now they've offered to replace keys and whole keyboards. I think last year they tried putting a plastic membrane underneath these keys so that the little butterfly mechanism in there isn't susceptible to like a breadcrumb now. I mean, a grain of salt can get in this thing and oh crap, it's not pushing down. I mean, it really is irritating. So I took it in, and the guy cleaned it. He said, there was a lot of debris in there, and he said, if it keeps doing it, bring it back. And
there's a lot of Pringles crumbs in here.
Sure was. A lot of Cheetos. What are you, why is everything orange in here? And it just, they overtook, and yet my point is, and yet we continue to go back to Apple. I still like Apple over PCs. Even though they have strayed away and done things to us like take away Final Cut Pro, and I mean, a lot of things, the iPhones, good grief, you need to mortgage your house now.
They own the world.
Yeah, they pretty much do. Although I think that their share is starting to waver a little bit. And if that new iPhone with the three-eyed raven on the back of it, that may be part of their downfall. But they're still pulling the numbers. So Gen Z apparently very capable. Another myth, they say Gen Z loves showing off our expensive brands. In the Instagram era where we all live our lives online, you'd think the Gen Z generation would want big, eye-catching logos on our clothes to show off our high-priced, high fashion. Instead, Gen Z places a premium on individuality, and while we still appreciate expensive clothes, we don't want our clothes branding overshadowing our personal brands. But you don't want the little Izod alligator on your shirt anymore?
But that's the dawn of social media. I mean, they grew up with it, so they have to identify themselves as unique. Mm-hmm. So that's why their personal brand is always way bigger. They have an online presence that they're trying to hold on to. So I mean, that's something that's what matters to them.
That makes perfect sense too.
Yeah, they don't care about what I was about to say. Tommy Hilfiger, like who wears that anymore? They don't care about Hollister. They don't care about
what's Hollister. You bring me some good Tommy Hilfiger in here, and I'll show you fashion. Get off my lawn. Wearing that alligator. What's that alligator on your shirt? Get it out of here. What are the big brands now?
Oh,
clothing wise.
Let's see. Forever 21. Vans is still pretty big.
They never fit me.
The Vans?
Yeah.
Oh,
I never found
I
them
found
very
these comfortable ones I was actually quite impressed with.
Do they have memory foam in them? Because I really like the memory foam. Are they the slip-ons? Because I really enjoy those slip-ons with memory foam.
Yeah, they're pretty good.
I've gotten to where I can't wear anything without memory foam in it. It just feels so good on your feet.
You're walking on clouds.
Yes. I'm feeling my memory foam right now. It feels so good. They say that, just like you said, Gen Zers want our Instagrams to be a reflection of our uniqueness, not just free advertising for a luxury brand. There's even a specific insult for those who care too much about branding. They're called hype beasts. See, you learn something new about these kids every day. Another myth, Gen Z does not shop in store. You've heard a million times Gen Z is the most tech-savvy generation. They're always in front of the screen, so of course we do all of our shopping online, would never step foot into a brick-and-mortar store. Right? Wrong. They're all about the experience. Good. maybe Gen Z will be the generation that actually brings customer service back.
And they're not going to go to college.
Yeah.
They're not going to go to college. There's no need.
No, good for them. They're finally, unless of course they want to do something that requires a college degree. If you have to be an accountant, a lawyer, right? They said they want to be doing something that's worth posting on Snapchat. After all, it's an experience to shop in store. 42% of Gen Z members surveyed prefer in-store shopping to online, while just 23% prefer online shopping only. I've not ever understood people who can buy clothes online. I went over to the mall last week, and
we're at Northeast
Grapevine Mills.
Grapevine Mills,
Vanity Fair outlet. You ever been there? Sounds like women's panties, but it's not.
You're sniffing women's panties in Vanity Fair outlet.
Is that wrong? Is that wrong? Is there a law against that? No.
Nobody's worn them.
Maybe I just like the way the processing plant smells. There's nothing wrong. It's not illegal. But they have, they have men's clothes there too, and it's like all the off, it's the corn with the face half eaten. It's the jeans that,
clothing.
Yeah, well, no, the off brand. It's the B stock. It's the we forgot to put 18 stitches right here instead of only 16. So it's like Wrangler and a bunch of stuff that you'd see some of the department stores branded with. They just take those labels off. And you still get it, and pants are like $7. I mean, it's disposable.
I need to check this place out.
Yes, you do. Vanity Fair is, it's and trying on clothes. I would rather sit at home and put toothpicks underneath my toenails, and push them in slowly.
Oh God,
I
just curled every single one of my toes. You just saying that, and not in a euphoric way.
That is how much I hate shopping for clothes. It just brings home how did I even walk into the store? I'm so huge. But yeah, I don't understand people who can do it, who can shop online. And now, doesn't Amazon have something called Closet or something where you can order all your clothes
and then send back the ones that you don't have anymore?
How? I mean, is this a great world we live in, or what? But I can't do it because nothing ever fits. I mean, a pair of size 13 shoes don't fit me half the time. Some do, some don't. Pants, even when I lost a ton of weight, I couldn't get.
What size pants do you wear?
Big, very big, like Omar, like Jeffy. No, not Jeffy.
36.
That's why I love Jeffy. No, I'm 30.
Come on,
39,
hey, I gave you the ball pump story.
Like 39.
What was that?
Like 39.
30. Okay, you're still in the 30s. That's fine.
As far as you know. And then you go trying those on, and you're like, wait, I'm a 38. You're like laying down and
crying in the fetal position, just trying to button them.
Oh, yes. Hey, somebody left these clothes in the dryer too long. The numbers aren't right on them.
Sir, have you been drinking? No.
No, I've been doing mushrooms. Shut up. Get out of my face or I'll eat your face. It's
I heard the story of the monkey. Do that to you.
I am the monkey on mushrooms. Bring those other numbered pants over here to me. If they just would switch some numbers around, that's the thing. Is just put a you take the little number and you put it on the bigger size clothes, and then all of a sudden you feel good about yourself. That's the weirdness of shopping for clothes, because
they did do something. I think it was like some store in California, because they don't want women worried about their figure and size, stuff like that. They were measuring women around the waist, and they were like, "Oh, your size is gorgeous," and they're like, "Oh, that's so sweet." It's no longer a number, and then it's like, "Oh, your size is beautiful," and I'm like, "Stop! You're lying to them. Stop doing that. That's messed up."
Because gorgeous is chunky and beautiful is damn, baby. Lay off the cookies and whatever the hell else you're eating. And it is about the way you feel in your clothes. It shouldn't be about the number. It should be about the way you feel in your clothes. And let me tell you, I like the way you feel in your clothes. No, that's why they say don't put such a a big emphasis on the number. It's about how you feel. It's about the way your clothes fit, that sort of thing. But still, if we could take like a 48 waist and just put like a 36 number on it. If we went metric, guess what? Wow. See, all of the reasons to go metric, just it comes full circle. Just saying. So these online shoppers, 23% only like to shop online. But they said to Gen Zers coming into your store, it has to be a fun time. 56% said an enjoyable in-store experience impacts where they shop. They say, think about if you own a store, think about what can make your store snap-worthy or gram-worthy. Mushrooms. Just saying.
That could make a tool shed look snap-worthy.
Yes.
Mushrooms. Yeah.
Right? You got those breathable walls, too. Those are so cool.
I wonder if these garden shears will cut my ear off.
You got the face of a monkey. So maybe there's hope for the future. Maybe these little Gen Zers, these little rugrats running around now. Wait a minute. How old is the oldest Gen Zer now?
I think Gen Z is 1999, so they got to be about 20.
Damn. Is it 2019 already?
It's 2019. We're about to be it's about to be the roaring 20s again.
By the way, the roaring 20s, that's when a good chunk of that happened when they outlawed alcohol. See, I'm thinking that was all marketing too. But if you look back at the happy days are here again. That was propaganda. I think that was the Democrat Party at their. I'm pretty sure that it was propaganda for one of the political parties. And brother, can you spare a dime? I'll have to look that one back up. I know that Happy Days Are Here Again was actually propaganda.
Have I heard? I feel like I've heard that song.
Yeah.
What was it?
Happy days are here again. The skies above are clear again. Let us sing a song of cheer again. Happy days are here again. Hey, hey.
Okay.
And it was back
propaganda for what?
The Depression. It was around the Depression, so the end of the 20s. And they were trying to get people confident in the
economy.
Yeah, I want to say it was the Democrats. I may be wrong. It could have been the Republicans. Who the hell knows?
It's probably just the government trying to keep you from not killing yourself.
Right. They just wanted to make you think that things were just hunky-dory.
And you were totally screwed.
Mm-hmm. That's the thing. Raider over on the Twitter, hashtag when I learned today, keep talking dirty to me, Brad. Numbers, the metric system. Oh, yeah, he's an engineer. He's one of those freaks that deals with, I don't know how he see the rim in the studio back here, and did you notice that? He designed that.
Oh wow,
yeah,
that's very impressive.
He's like one of those smart guys.
So he's a tire engineer?
No, he's just an engineer.
Just an engineer.
So yeah, I mean, you want something? He could take the messed up piece of corn and make it perfect in the virtual world.
Oh, take the bastard child of the corn and turn him into a king.
Exactly. See, it's good to have people like that as your friends because they can solve a lot of problems. Just saying.
Because we're not smart enough to handle them on our own.
No. Well, at least I'm not. If you haven't been yet to Cat Coolers, make sure that you do that. I would say summer's in full swing. It only feels like it. Summer technically doesn't get here for another, 11 days? It's the 10th.
It's coming up pretty soon, yeah.
So that'll be the official start to summer. So if you haven't yet purchased your Cat Cooler, and the thing about these, are they cheap? No. Are they inexpensive? No, but you can get I'll tell you how you can use the promo code Brandon to get 10% off. The thing about it is you will own this cooler for decades. I mean, think about the coolers you've bought in the past and you get 2 or 3 years out of them. They sort of kind of work. And, in about 3 years, they're beat to hell. The hinges don't work. Everything's just all nasty on them. They got some sort of weird stain in them that you can't remember how it got there. You think it was that one party you had with that dude that you invited. He was probably on shrooms. Just saying. With a Cat Cooler, you can put ice in it. It will stay cold for literally 4 days. And you can get the color you want. If you own a business, by the way, you can get these customized with your graphics. They're very cool. And their drinkware, their cups, and the blue collar cat cooler. So when you don't have to open it and stick your hand down and go, I wonder if this beverage in this can is cold. You just look at the ring around the collar, really, of the cooler, and when it's blue, that means it's cold in there. See? Simple. You don't have to go digging. You don't have to go bobbing for your drinks. You just go, oh, look, it turned blue. They're cold. There you go. You get the camo. But, yeah, if you own a business, you can get these customized with your graphics. You can sell them, give them away. You can do whatever you want with it. It's a free country so far. Go to catcoolers.com. If you use promo code Brandon, you will get 10% off. Even though I said earlier that Brandon will be here on Fridays. Somebody said, was that the big announcement? Yeah, that was a big announcement. Or it was that Ron and I are going to be doing the show shirtless every Tuesday. We'll be doing the show shirtless tomorrow.
Topless Tuesday.
Topless Tuesday. Which works a lot better down at Deja Vu than it does here for some reason. I'm just saying. So go to catcoolers.com, use promo code Brandon, and you will get 10% off said cooler of your choosing. You know, I'm rethinking that whole Topless Tuesday thing now that I've seen Ron's belly. I think that maybe I need therapy.
We talk about, like, who works out the most. You know what? We should do what those girls do. Like, your size is beautiful.
Yes.
We could just talk about, how good we all look shirtless. We could do that.
You know, the funny thing is what I didn't hear when Ron did that was...
I'm sexy and I know.
I did not hear that when he... It's just so you know. I guess we've probably done as much damage as we can. By the way, Mike, thank you for being here today.
It's been fun.
Did that sound sincere? Let me do that again. 3, 2, 1. By the way, Mike, thank you for being here today. Is that good?
That was pretty good.
One more time, just so you can choose the right one. Hey, Mike, thanks for being here today. And so now you get your choice there. So we'll edit the rest out. Let's just wrap this thing up, shall we?
What do you mean it's let's go?
Hold on, this green board. Yeah, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. The end of Doc Thompson's Daily Mojo. But before we go, as always, let's find out what we learned today. We learned that sucking balls is getting harder and harder to do in California. You're going to have to go back to hour 2 to make sense of that one. We learned that if you ever see Mitch McConnell in the Senate there with his nose stuck in with a straw stuck in his nose, don't pull it out. Don't. It just, hey, I was just trying to make things better.
It's so tight. It's hard to pull out.
Right? Hold on. I keep wedging the bell underneath my stand. It's hard to get. You don't care. Finally, we learned that monkeys will eat your face. Some people see that had common sense already knew that, and they don't put a monkey in their face.
He chewed on her cheek like a piece of gum.
You ever done that with anybody? Ever chewed on her cheek?
Yeah. Little babies.
Kind of fun.
Who's a cute face? What if babies did that? We always put our face so close that they go stranger danger and they just bite our faces.
Well, what they do is they projectile vomit into your face.
And you swallow some of it? Oh, it's terrible.
Or they pee on you. One of the two.
Yeah.
Babies are just... They're like monkeys.
Terrible creatures.
They're like monkeys, I'm telling you. Did you learn anything today, by the way? I'm just saying it out of courtesy because... great. That's great. Thanks. Mike. Didn't learn a damn thing.
I already knew more than you did. But
yeah, that's true. Whiskey 6, Real Brad Staggs, Real Ron Phillips, and Twitter handle is Mike. Topless on radio. I think he meant rookies. I know, right? Because Whiskey 6 and the whole gang on Sunday nights, I can't even get to it. There's so many laws broken. Lori F&D, hashtag Man Titty Tuesday, has a better ring to it.
I like that.
Does it?
I like that.
So many pieces of the puzzle.
Or could we have Titty Tuesday where like guys and girls and we'll just all take our shirts off?
I'm good with that.
I think,
but you know what? I think we should start a movement for nipple equality.
I agree. 100%.
I think that nipples should be equal. They're just no different, except those ones that point at the floor. Let's not those. No. Rose Festival slug. No one tell Brad about Kelvin scale for temperatures. I already knew about it. I just don't know how it works.
0 Kelvin is, I think, absolute zero. That's the coldest you can possibly be.
No, this studio on some mornings is the coldest you could possibly be. That's a totally different story. An F in Florida man, Real Brad Staggs, is really going to spend 30 minutes talking about changing the sizes of pants to stall, now giving us the big... I gave you the big announcement! Second hour. I told you about Brady being here. Jeez, you people, you don't listen. Go to your room. Damn it. We'll get to the new numbers on procrastination as soon as Doc Thompson returns from his Florida vacation. Your Daily Mojo in the meantime has been a Ron Phillips and a Mike production. Wherever you go, whatever you do, live by the 5 rules. You got to stop being right and being happy. Good night, Doc Thompson. That's where you say wherever you are, Mike. You say wherever you are. Say it. Yeah, say it.
Wherever you are.
That's nice, just like we rehearsed it.
This is the seditious, rabble-rousing, liberty-loving, home of fun, entertaining, and compelling talk. Mojo 50.
News this hour from townhall.com. I'm Rich Thomason. President Trump renewing his criticism of Twitter and specifically the way it treats conservatives.
The president says Twitter should let the banned conservative voices back onto their platform without restriction. He says it's about freedom of speech, and he tweets that Twitter is making a giant mistake.